Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Oh. There's a Shmee. Look at him. Look at him there. It's all big. What a ham. Taking over the whole screen. Oh, hello. Oh. Ping. It's all right. Hi, chat. Whoa. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Friday. How's everybody doing? Are you excited for the weekend? Here, let's get Michael in on this. They call me Mr. Shmee. Oh. When everyone else joins the VC, you'll get smaller. It adjusts size depending on how many people are in the chat. Courtney, thank you so much for that subby. I appreciate you. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go. Whoa. Ooh, ooh. Also, Coraline, thank you for the subby earlier. It's so sweet. Thank y'all. Give me all your prime bucks. I'll eat them. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Take those Bezos bucks. Yeah, give me them. They're your problem now. I'll just eat them. Ow. Tasty bucks. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm finishing my dinner. How are you?
Oh, did you guys have pizza?
What?
Did you have pizza?
No.
Oh, wait, you do pizza lunch, don't you? That's right.
I've been way too busy this week, which is weird because I took the week off. But
wow, that's how it usually goes, right?
Yep. This is the classic hamburger helper.
Oh, I love Hamburger Helper. I grew up on that shit. Because it was cheap and it fed a lot of people.
Rachel has this version she makes that's like a homemade one.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I bet.
Oh, why are you so bad?
This is what it sounds like. Have you ever played Peak?
Nope.
Oh my gosh. I only played it once, so I'm not going to be a very good guide.
Is there like a setting that doesn't suck? Because it's like real choppy, even just in the menu screen.
Oh. I don't know. Is it cheat? Is it me? Hi, Ashen. Welcome in.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh no. Let me see. Let me launch the game and see.
Which option do you use to launch it?
I only played it once, so I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
We'll find out together. Ready?
Oh my gosh.
Peek. Play. Oh.
In the room.
Which one did you use?
I was in Vulcan, which is what the internet said is the best one.
Okay, so maybe try Well, I've heard DirectX 12 can have issues sometimes. But for me, it goes back and forth with different games. I don't remember what I used last time.
That feels about right.
I'll try with 12 and I'll let you know. Like with Are We There Yet? If I launch with DirectX 12, sometimes it runs great and sometimes it crashes constantly. And then I have the same issue with DirectX 11 with Are We There Yet sometimes too. So just depends on what it feels like that day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hello.
It's a Zeph.
Hello.
Oh. I didn't know she was coming.
I don't know. What
I know. Make sure. Oops. Hello, Pixie. Welcome in. This is what it sounds like.
So I spent way too much time researching like pizza steals and pizza peels, though.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought you were gonna get the one from the pizza guy, the dough guy.
I've thought about it, but his is twice as expensive as his other ones.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. We realized that too because we did on Amazon a search, but a lot of them on Amazon got returned a lot of times. So I don't know how good they were.
Yeah.
But we haven't ordered one yet.
Yeah, I need to do that, but for me to do that, I also have to get a pizza peel. So
yeah, we also need to get one.
Honestly, I didn't even know that like pizza steels existed.
I didn't either.
No, I knew about like pizza stones because we always had one, but like
Yes.
it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, I have a pizza stone.
Mm-hmm.
But so the last time that I used it, I did what Michael and the internet suggested, and that was to preheat my stone for like maybe 30 to 45 minutes, right, before I bake on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it made my whole house stink like chemicals.
Oh wow, ew! I hate
It smelled really bad,
right?
And I feel like that shouldn't happen because that is a pampered chef pizza stone.
Right, exactly. Or like when we got our oven, you know, like a couple years ago, like the first time baking it like it smells like new, and you're like, oh my god, ugh.
Yeah, and I've had
like
that
the new
pizza
oven
stone.
smells and shit.
Right,
Mhm.
and I had that pizza stone for years. Like it's not
Right.
So I was like, ew, what have we been eating off of that smells like that?
Right. Like, damn, we're all gonna die.
Hey, Garret. Work. Oh, he's pretend here. He's not really here.
Oh, he's not really here. Oh,
It's pretend here.
what a liar. Hello.
may not have his headset functioning yet.
Oh,
Right. Hi, Ray. Welcome in.
got the Michigan headset.
Yep.
Oh. Hey. Hey now. Well, we cheated today and we ordered pizza delivery because I was too tired to make pizza today.
I got that.
Wow.
Sometimes you gotta. Hey, don't say shit because 2 nights ago, whatever, we had like frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza.
Yep, it was pretty good. Not gonna lie.
I like frozen
It's no
pizza
Michael
sometimes.
Pizza though. Hey,
Right?
Pixie. Hey,
Oh my
Ray.
god, it was so funny because how did it even come up? I think I was talking about it in stream, and then Michael's like, "Oh yeah, well this pizza," and I was like, "You're making pizza too? We're both making pizza."
Right.
We deep dove that day for like
We're-
30 minutes of your chat. I was like, I'm so sorry for everyone else who doesn't care about pizza. that I'm just like
Who doesn't care
min-maxing.
about pizza?
Well, it's and then does chat know like the bottom story?
No, I didn't tell them.
That was a good one.
My
It was a good one.
husband is sending Chi ass pics. No, I'm just kidding.
He totally did.
No, that you're not kidding though.
I'm
That's-
not
Yeah.
kidding though. That's the thing.
He was wearing pants. It's
He was.
fine.
in the first picture.
In the first picture? No, you didn't. Oh, shit.
Honestly, real though, pizza's delicious.
I just want pizza now. Get some. Oh, it's probably too late for you to get pizza, Ash.
Like that country song, "Pizza makes her pants fall off" or something like that.
Wait, is that in a country song?
I think it's like tequila, but same thing.
Great, now I want pizza. Get pizza, nerd.
No, for
But dialing the
bottom
camera,
thing-
yes.
for
No,
the
I
bottom
have.
thing, it was like the she's like, show me the bottom of your pizza, and then or show me your bottom.
Yeah, it was.
And then he took a picture of his like butt.
Yeah,
pants.
because he sent me pictures of the pizza he made, and I was like, okay, but what does the bottom look like? And then he sent me a picture of his butt. And then I was like,
What you
why
mean to
did
say is I sent you
yeah,
exactly what you asked for.
the bottom. Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
It's okay. I had the same conversation like 2 days later with Garret.
That's funny.
I felt left out.
Oh,
Mhm.
Look who's
everyone
my
wants a
kid
piece
now.
of Michael's ass. Oh.
A bicycle.
The whole
Bicycle.
thing.
Like it's not Mike, it's her bike, it's Mike, and it's bicycle.
Oh my god.
My God.
I know, it's terrible.
Sorry, babe.
You're good.
Bicycle. I
I
thought it
wasn't
was
talking because I was getting
tractors.
snacks.
No,
Mm.
tractors is what she thinks is sexy. Apparently.
Track-
Tractors
only
do not
tequila
make her
song, I
pants
know.
fall off.
No.
Right. Well, I mean,
Unless you're into that kind of thing, I suppose.
right. Yeah. I'm not gonna judge. Maybe I'll maybe a little bit, but like
Ela Makes Her Clothes Fall Off, a song by Joe Nichols from 2005.
oh,
I don't know who
the
that
only
is.
tequila song that I was thinking was like
Mas
tequila.
tequila!
I was like, that's all the fucking lyrics. It's like tequila, and that's it. I was like, where do they talk about this, this song? Because there's an alternate, like the extended version.
I got a piece of Michael's ass. Oh wait, different Mike. Hi Bo.
Hey, Bo.
The Pee Wee Herman song? Huh?
What?
I hope Pee Wee Herman wasn't talking about tequila on TV for kids.
Or whatever. Wait, isn't that the noise he makes or whatever? Like his little laugh?
Yeah, or something.
Or something like that.
You have a mic on your desk right now. An MIC mic. Wait, yeah.
That
The Tequila's Off song Zeph was singing? Oh.
is it?
Did he have a different version, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
It's super hot in my office.
Ooh, it's that time of year. What's the weather by you?
We just had a thunderstorm roll through like a half hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 78 today or 76 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the storm came through and now it's like 63, but it's really muggy now.
Mm-hmm.
But on Tuesday, it was 30 degrees.
Oh wow. I know, all this like back and forth is crazy.
It is.
It
My
was like
sinuses are not
60.
happy.
Right. It's like been 68 here, and I did some like things out in the yard for a little while, but it's nice today.
It's in the
You're
Pee Wee's
supposed to
Big
get
Adventure
storms.
movie.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I remember that now. I haven't seen that movie in years. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for making me feel old, Pixie. God damn it.
39. Don't worry, it'll be like 8,000 degrees like tomorrow.
Right?
Because you guys, like, because Mother Nature hates South Dakota, so.
Aw. Poor South Dakota. Poor South Dakota.
It's not real.
South Dakota isn't real. Oh. All right. You guys ready to
It's a
game?
fake place. No one ever's been there.
It's seriously horrible there. But you live there and you like it, right? Perfect room temp 68 here. Well, it's 63 here, but it's muggy and I'm sticking to my computer chair. So
Ugh.
yeah, it's
68
gross.
here too.
Sticky.
Ew.
Not a good kind of sticky.
My.
Please define good sticky, Chi, for the
Um,
class.
I can't. I might get banned.
Oh.
Good sticky equals stickers. Yeah, what Matt said.
Yeah.
Totes. Epoxy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sticky talk. You honestly, do you love it? Not all of it, though. That's fair. It sounds like there's a lot to not like.
Yeah, Bo lives there.
Damn it.
Ooh.
The nature there is probably beautiful, though.
It is. He lives like in one of like the only scenic place though. It's like it. Otherwise, it's just nothing, and then it's like all in one spot.
You found
I wish I was
something
kidding.
today that changed your life? I've been to Yankton, South Dakota, because it wasn't that far from where I lived in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
You made that place up.
I wish I did.
No one's ever been there.
No,
I wish
no
I
one.
did. My friend
Isn't that city that the main character of GTA 5 is from?
Yankton. That is where my friend went to college. So we would go there to visit her, and we'd get shit faced all weekend because she could buy us booze. There's a prison there, yeah, and a university. Tried this. Translate Kagi.com. Uh-oh. Oh. Wait, what is this? Translator.
Oh.
LinkedIn speak.
I've seen
Oh,
this before.
oh wait.
I've seen this before. Yeah.
Wait. It's
In case anyone
thinking.
else was on the edge of their seat, GTA 5 starts out in the city of Ludendorff in the state of North Yankton.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have
Welcome
to
to
verify
random
use
ass
it.
knowledge I've cataloged in my brain for 12 years for no reason.
Is that one made up?
I have to let the
That
bot
one is
know that I'm not
that
a
one
bot.
is made up.
Ah, take it.
Yeah, it's completely made up. You know, like birds and the earth being round.
So I wrote in it, get fucked. And the LinkedIn speak translation is, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Sounds about right.
Ludendorff, sus. Maybe. I have a GTA game. Probably 5. Because 6 is never coming out.
You don't say that.
It might.
Maybe.
Y'all just have to wait an extra year for it to come to PC because it's gonna be console first, baby.
Whoa. Good thing I got a PlayStation.
Console Master Race.
All right.
I'm gonna play it on my handheld because I want to use my handheld as a jet thruster
Gross.
with those fans at 300%. Let's go.
You get like 2 minutes of battery life with that.
I don't seem to be having any issues with launching with DirectX 12. Michael
Oh
said-
yeah, I'm in. It's been fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in too.
Michael said he had a problem with Vulkan. So.
Vulcan was being choppy as shit.
Okay. Invite friends. Wait, I don't think I have Michael or Garret on
Ugh.
Steam.
Uh-oh.
Probably not.
All right.
They're gonna make me find out my name.
Just
Yeah,
send me.
hold
I
on.
just need your Steam code.
Yeah. Where's that?
Uh-huh.
You go to
Just-
friends, and
Silly
you
little
go
Steam.
to add a friend, and your Steam code's in there.
Oh,
Don't worry, figured it out all by myself.
nobody panicked.
Just send it to me in Discord. Talk to the Peak devs about that. They fucked up the Unity settings for Vulkan. They're gonna fix it soon. You talked to them personally? Let's go. Mac for the win. Mac's goated like that.
Also, Mac being a GTA 4 stan, that I don't remember where I was, but like last week, somewhere, and someone like excitedly greeted their cousin as they arrived, and they were just like, "Cousin!" And I just hit him with the "Let's go bowling," and then no one got it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Aww. Oh no. Flop.
It made me sad. Oh, sick! I can block ChiiFett.
Don't block me.
Who?
How dare you?
Everyone knows that the real one is the SmeeFett.
Sorry, I forgot you did that.
I want you to know I paid $10 for that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You did?
You paid $10 to change your name?
Well, technically, I paid $10 to change it after that, but
Oh. Also, I'll probably use Discord, so you guys could disable in-game voice if you want, so it doesn't echo.
yeah. Thanks for the warning.
I think yours might be on open mic or whatever.
Yeah, it might be.
Chi.
Let's see, settings.
Right,
I'm
nobody's getting
microphone
double
illiterate,
versions of
so
me.
There you
I'm
go.
just gonna put it to push to talk, and I don't know what a button is, so
There you go.
that'll probably be fine.
Perfect.
That's what
Yes,
I
I
did.
did too.
And then I turned voices volume all the way down so I don't get messed up even
Yeah,
if
that's
it
what I
does.
did. That's what I did too.
Mhm.
Where's
Yeah.
every penny? The whole talking to the devs thing was an Instagram DM, and then one of the devs added me on Discord. Aw, that's cute. I love that.
That is cute.
You know who talked to me on Twitter? So remember I had the blow up with the AI bros on Twitter last week?
hmm
the guy that one of the co-founders of Atom commented on my stuff and then followed me on Twitter.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
good though.
Yeah, it was so cool. It's like, oh my god. I'm a B-list celebrity now. Oh, I was checking my sound settings. Oh, I have the sound up. Oh my gosh, a raid!
Yay!
Kize, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. Hello, hello, hello. Did you get your sound effects done? What song was that? That was Electric Callboy. Elevator Operator. Banger song. Came out last year. Super good. Yeah, yeah. They have a new album coming out. I love them. I'm obsessed with them. You finished the episode? Let's go! Woohoo! Hyper, you're pretty and I like ya. Thank you so much, Curly, for the
Rachel.
follow.
Garret,
Now move to the
come
next one. Let's go.
it looks like she's pooping.
It kind of does. She's like kind of squatted and like.
It
She's
was like
squatted.
that. It was like
And-
that
and-
last time we played too, and I don't know why.
Eee.
Very intently focusing on that.
If
What a weirdo.
if you need to run off and rest and get snackies and drinks and whatever, I totally get that. Yeah. Thank you again for the raid, Kize. I appreciate you.
What happened?
Kize is the artist that did my new ref sheet.
Oh, badass.
Yeah. Gonna leave a lurk and go rest a bit? Of course. Kize's been working on his first webtoon.
Ooh.
Yeah, super cool.
That's exciting.
He works really hard. This man's drawing like 15 hours a day. It's insane. Hard worker, very talented. I love Kize. Go follow Kize. Do it. Do it. All right. I keep meaning to check my sound settings.
Michael just climbing walls over here.
Michael, get down from there.
You got some grip strength. Oh, damn. You got some grip strength.
I can't remember if the music in this game is stream safe.
I'm not sure.
I think it is. Well, we'll turn it on, and I'll turn off my music. Boop. Oh, we gotta turn the game sound for chat.
I am the tallest. Is there a sprint?
I think it's not really is it sprint? Shift maybe?
Yep, it was shift.
Alt F4?
Ooh.
Alt
Oh,
F4. Interesting.
totes.
Oh no!
Alright. Okay. I think I got my sound all figured out now. Whoa, what you got there?
How to drop it. There it is.
Queen. Did you customize your faces?
Sure
Your
did.
outfits? Nice. Well,
Super customized.
I don't know why my character is just stuck in this stance. It was like this when I ended the last time I played.
Do you poop your pants?
I hope not. Oh, look, I'm a crab. You're just crab walking. And I can still crouch more. So, like, I'm not stuck in crouch. It's just...
Here's a crab walk. Scoot, scoot. Oh.
Oh! Ball. Okay, I don't know how to start the actual thing. How to start? I didn't host last time, so I don't know what I'm doing.
I wonder if it's like...
Now boarding.
On to
Maybe
best.
it's over here.
Right. Like that one? Like the gate?
This looks
something?
right.
That would.
Is this like a ready up button?
There we go.
Yeah. And you can board the flight.
Pro tip, crank that field of view like it's Soulja Boy.
So, like, never mind.
Crank that, crank that.
I have nothing nice to say.
Ooh. Oh no, we crashed.
I know.
Oh frick!
Hit me with that quake.
Where's Bing Bong?
It's like a fire.
You
I
got
found him.
Bing Bong! Isn't he cute?
He is
You're old. you know.
unforgettable.
I love Bing Bong. He's so adorable. There's a special achievement if you get him all the way to the end or something.
Oh, like if you like carry him all the way.
Yeah. Well, you can put him in your pocket or whatever.
There's like a seashell.
Guidebook?
Conch.
Punch. What does the guidebook do? Flip page. Open. Whoa. Oh!
Ooh. Oh, guidebook. Yeah.
Thank you for the follow.
Yes.
Welcome to Sector 313. Sprint. Did you find the horn?
No.
Oh, this guidebook has all the control instructions. I didn't want this.
Zeph, I gave you a.
Ooh.
I put a lantern in your backpack.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's crazy that you can put things on like other people's things or like backpack like that.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
one person carries a backpack and you can put other supplies in there to share between everybody. Lollipop.
Is there fall damage?
Yes, I believe so. Also, why am I on fire? Is it hot on the beach? It must be. Can I get in the water and cool off?
Oh yeah, it's fire here, but not over here. Wait, where'd it go? No fire here.
Yeah, I think it's just hot. Alright, we're gonna go this way.
Oh, goodness!
Oh.
Oh, I found a jellyfish apparently.
Oh! You gotta go up the mountain.
Oh, now I'm purple.
Don't make it weird. No one pee on him. No.
Oh god.
No, don't. You're poisoned.
There's an achievement for staring at the sun with binoculars in the mesa biome. Yikes.
Oh, what?
That sounds terrifying.
Where's this mesa biome? I may or may
Well,
not have.
we'll get there eventually.
Okay, you let me know.
How do I get rid of poisons?
Oh, it just goes. Mine just dropped by half, so it goes away eventually.
Hey,
It looks
there's
like.
jellyfish here. I'm not gonna touch
Oh, you almost got me again, you slimy little guy.
So sneaky. Oh shit, you have a hunger too that you have to worry about? Oh.
Yeah, so that's why there's snackies, and you can find
Is there?
food
Oh,
along the
I
way.
see a fruit in a tree.
Yeah, you can eat the fruits.
I have a bunch of snackies.
Wait, who you put like a
Where did you get
shell?
snackies?
They were
was
in one of the
some-
luggage suitcases.
Yeah, there
What?
was some stuff at the beginning. Like I have this lollipop, which I think also does some other perk.
How do you like get things out of your backpack? Okay.
Whoa,
Someone put, like, a
everything's
shell in there.
rainbowy. Oh, it gives me like magic stamina. So your green bar is also your stamina. Oh, now I'm crashing. I forgot how fun this game is, right? Oh no, I'm crashing
Timber.
hard! What the heck?
No, like the game is crashing.
No, like I had the lollipop and it gave me like a sugar rush effect, and now I'm like
Oh, what?
crashing from the sugar.
Oh no.
So I took up like a quarter of my bar or something. But it goes away.
Michael's over there in the woods. What are you doing? Creeping around?
With coconut.
Oh, it sounds like you're like eating.
He's eating the coconuts. You can hear him. He's munching. There's luggage over there. We can also
So you
find
like-
supplies on the way.
Ooh.
Like
Here, I
Oh,
threw
we
a
get
coconut at you.
scavenge?
there's a
Oh wait, where'd it
luggage-
go?
There's a luggage up here. Yeah,
I-
the last time I played this, I
How
spent
do I-
most of the time dead. So
There's like apples over here.
Come on, come on, come
Mm.
on. Okay.
I think there are coconuts up here too.
Michael's got
Lovely
a lovely
bunch of
bunch of
coconuts.
coconuts. Deedly-dee-dee. Bandages. Does anybody have a owie?
Not currently.
Genuinely
Not
don't
yet.
know.
Not yet.
I also
Oh, I
found a
gotta get
sports
this.
drink.
Oh,
I'm gonna get this coconut.
Where you guys at?
I'm in a tree.
I'm in the pillars.
No. Oh my god, I almost fell into the tree. Okay, wait. How do you like eat it? You have to like break it open. Meh. Yeah, you do.
I got
Oh
you
my god.
this.
Ow! Shit! Don't fall out of the tree. I'm not
Oh.
hungry anymore, at least, but I might have a broken leg. I'm just kidding. I don't. I'm not sure, but,
I'm
like,
not hungry, but
at least
I'm
not
just walking
hungry
off.
anymore. Easy. Yeah, where's Chi?
right, I'm down here at the bottom of the pillars.
The bottom of the pillars. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like in Here, I'll try to find you.
Oh, hey,
We
Garrett.
should.
Hello?
Oh,
Oh hey, how's it going?
Just me and you doing what we do best. Scrambling.
Gang.
thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Sector 313.
That
Yeah,
was
My alerts
wild.
are kind of loud. I should probably turn those down. I feel like every time they go off, I'm going deaf.
Better you than me.
Stupid mix it up.
Oh.
There we go.
Made it.
Crushed it.
So basically, see, if you look at the mountain, you can see the smoke from the fire up there.
Yeah.
That's where we're trying to go. We want to get to the fire.
Oh,
Okay.
easy.
It's a campfire.
Oh no.
Easy.
There's
Oh
also
no.
there's also a way, like, if somebody can't get up, you can help reach down and help pull them up.
Isn't it like with holding the right click or whatever?
I think so. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly.
Like reaches
You
your
guys have a
little
right
fingies
click?
Yeah.
out. Believe it or not.
Ow. I hurt myself.
Thank you.
Hey, right click works.
It's really handy if
Whoa.
you start to run out of stamina and you need help getting up. Oh, thanks.
I grabbed your boob.
You guys.
Sorry.
And also sometimes it looks like you're reaching for crotches.
Bro.
Here.
Wait, I don't think I should be watching this.
You know what? You
Bo, I need to borrow your chair.
The red chair.
Chi, would you rather
Cookies.
watch?
Comes
you rather watch
pre-stained and
this?
everything. Scout cookies, fuck yeah.
Get out of me.
What am I watching?
No, come
No,
here.
don't.
Oh,
Come here.
No, stop it. Stop
Come
it.
here.
Get
No,
him.
don't.
What's a chubby shroom?
Oh, there's
Would you
rope.
call me?
Please be hallucinogens.
Oh, goodness.
It might be poisonous.
Now the mountain will be climbing you. I don't know.
Carrots.
I have this rope, but my
Ooh,
inventory.
medicinal roots.
Actually, here's that. Let's put this rope in your backpack in case you need it. In the backpack.
Ooh, carrot.
It's medicinal
How
roots.
do I?
Ooh.
Wait, turn around.
So do I have to have an empty
There we
hand to
go.
climb things?
If you have empty inventory slots, it'll automatically go into your slot, I think, when you start
I
climbing.
actually needed that.
Unless that's something that can't be inventoried.
Stop trying to watch me.
Well, the more you guys put in there, the slower I'm gonna go, just so you know, because it's heavy. So
Oh, right,
I'm
I
a pack-
forgot the
Who's-
weight affects you.
It
Who's
does,
gonna
it's
hold
okay.
my bugle?
Sounds like a job for you. I don't know.
Well, I would, but I have this bing bong. And
'Cause we
he's
need to
very
use it.
cute,
Look,
and I can't put him
Get
down.
out of me. Stop it.
Stop
it, no.
I
Stop,
don't
stop,
need.
I don't eat. Yummy apple. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh no! Oh no! It was not a yummy apple. Ah! Where's the root?
Hopefully these aren't
No.
important.
It was not a yummy apple. Now I'm poisoned.
I know.
Don't eat random apples. No.
Oh, thank you.
Whoa.
I jerked everybody up.
Stop your jorking.
Jorkins.
Away. Captain
No.
Chi.
I don't know which way to go.
Up.
Up.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
Game's
You
called
have a
Peak.
Mr.
I
Stark
know.
in your lap? Let's go.
Yeah, maybe I don't lead. That sounds cool.
I mean, I've only ever played once before, so I'm not exactly a good leader.
That is 100% more experience than us.
Okay.
The fog rises. I don't like that at all.
Zeph doesn't know the way of the scouts. Me either. It's fine. I think Michael was an actual Boy Scout, though.
Both of Garrett and Michael
Not
were.
the only
Okay,
one.
okay,
Yeah.
thought so, thought so.
So they, you know,
Oh,
come on,
that
Boy
looks
Scouts, let's
dangerous.
go.
Yeah, survival.
I'm
That
doing
thing
it.
looks dangerous. Don't touch it. It's wiggling.
It does. It looks very pokey and like it
Yeah.
could hurt.
It looks ouchy. Stay away.
No, where'd you come from?
You hate the fog? Wait, well, which one has the fog? I forgot.
Got you.
It was like, it
Thanks.
said fog setting in earlier, just a little bit ago.
Oh,
The
no,
fog
I'm not gonna make
rises.
it. Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
the fog rises.
Oh, Yeah.
Strong, independent woman.
Yeah. Damn. Meanwhile, I'm getting hungry.
Help.
No hungies.
Hungry. I have this sport drink, but I'm worried about it causing me to potentially crash again.
Oh, that's right. Because
Like
like
an
there's a
Allsport?
sugar crash thing or something
Yeah.
or whatever. Oh no.
I don't think it gives
Oh.
energy, but it might.
Like in all sport.
Do we need a food stop?
I mean, if we come
Okay
across
right
food.
now.
I'm gonna drink
There's
this and see
coconuts.
what happens. Oh,
I
it
have
did. It gave me
cookies.
energy. It did not make me not hungry.
That's good at least.
This is a tall tree. Oh no, what happened? Whoa! Oh, luggage.
Yeah. Yeah, wedding
Yay!
Garret.
What happened? That's me.
Huh?
Hello?
Oh,
Is it
Bo
a
was asking
pipe?
who you were.
Oh, hi, Bo.
Yeah, wedding
Yes.
Garret. Yeah.
Wait,
it's
yes, wedding Garret. That's me.
Coconuts.
Those coconuts are a lie. I hate them.
What do you mean?
I can't get to, I think I'm too hungry to climb up there.
Skill issue.
Oh.
You're not wrong. Wait,
Oh,
backpack. Oh,
Michael, you can't just throw your nuts around.
All right.
Jeez.
So, but I've also seemed to have broken myself because I'm holding a coconut around the tree.
Look at him. Look at him.
Wait, where?
just
Where?
eat the coconut.
Up above. It's in this
Oh.
behind you. He's like, he was like straddling the tree,
He's
but the
one
coconut
with
was
the
like holding him
tree.
up. That's not a certified climbing device, Michael.
I'm in love with a stripper.
Ombele.
Wrong.
Michael's throwing
Michael's-
his nuts around.
He really
Anyone
did.
need a foods?
These nuts.
I don't know what's happening there again.
They need private married people time.
Go over this way.
I wish this happened this often in the real life.
Just be devious looking green man. Easy.
Careful of the jellyfishes. I don't remember those last time I played this.
It's an apple?
Oh god!
Crispberry.
Don't
It
walk
might
over
be
that.
This is mine
poisonous.
now.
It might be poisonous, just so you know.
Nah, it's probably fine.
Okay.
Ooh, luggage.
What could
luggage
ever go
and
wrong?
supplies.
I'm going down for the luggage.
Excuse
Okay.
me.
Shit.
I'll wait up
Have we
here.
come to
Yeah.
a bad
Going
place?
way far down
I
for the
think-
luggage.
I don't know how we're gonna get up from here.
I think maybe kind of like that little sandy top. I don't know, but then that's like really, really crazy. I feel like up on this white pillar and then straight up here, if we like go this way and then go right and up by that palm tree, that might be the better
Yeah.
bet.
Okay.
Here. Well, we should wait for Michael first though, because he's way down there.
Oh yeah. Hurry up, Michael.
Come on, Pipsqueak.
Went down for luggage
Was there anything
and
cool
then needed
in
to eat
there?
it right away. It was a granola bar, which I have now eaten.
That is good.
Get them nuts away from my face, Latrice Royale. Wait, she did say that. That's so funny. I forgot about that.
Oh no! Send help!
What?
Wait, what? What'd you do?
No, don't. No, falling into
Oh, no!
urchin.
No!
Yeah.
Oh god!
I know.
No, I held shift like I was playing Minecraft. And then it did the same with me.
No,
Oh no!
not Minecraft.
Now I'm poisoned.
I
Are you
know.
also at half poison bar?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's pretty
Ow.
neat down there.
She tried to crouch. She did. I'm
I
playing too
did. It
much
didn't work in
Minecraft.
case you're wondering. Oh, I'm so ready. Oh fuck! I'm so boned right now, you guys. I don't even think
I
I
would say,
can.
Zeph, we are
Help!
up a creek right now.
Yes, thank you.
You can also like smack shift or something to do a little jump if you're running low.
Oh, that's good to know.
I
My
think
poison is getting better, but
Wait, why
it
are we
still
pushing?
kinda sucks.
There's not enough room up here for
Why are we
everybody.
here?
Oh god!
I don't know. I don't know where to go.
Oh no!
Okay, there's a ledge right above, right up and over.
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh no, I'm out of stamina.
Oh no, send help! Oh,
I'm trying to
Oh,
move
I have
a
the
little
extra-
bit.
I have
Okay, we're
broken
not-
leg.
Ow.
Oh no!
I'm owie. We can't go this way.
Going
So
well, guys.
It's not gonna work.
Where'd that bandage go?
Oh, I have one here.
Hmm.
You need bandage?
Please.
Q. Oh no!
Oh, goodness.
Get it!
Oh.
Oh no! You can't just like hand stuff to people. It just drops it.
It rolled away.
All better.
Oh, better. Let's go.
Okay.
Michael's
Now that I
finding
have
a
like
different
twice
way to
the
go.
stamina that oh goodness.
Oh god. Oh, no,
Everything's
no,
fine.
give me your hand.
Everything's fine. Oh. Yep. This is fine.
I'm not
fine.
poisoned anymore, at least. So
That's good.
I think I might try to climb up.
I am
and
still
see.
poisoned.
Oh shit! No! Oh god! Ow, my leg.
How do I use this rope effectively?
Oh my god. Okay.
You dangle it down from where you are, I believe.
Oh, I gotta dangle it down?
Yeah.
This is worthless.
Dangly.
This game.
No,
This game is so provocative.
It's about teamwork.
Ugh.
It's like,
Team-
I think you
teamwork.
It's about
started on
teamwork.
the
Keep
So,
grass
going.
up there.
so me running off by myself was not the right call.
Oh, here
Yeah.
we go.
Help!
There's like
I can't make it.
a little ledge in here. Oh no! Ow!
All right, I'm going this way.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh,
Oh, no.
No! Oh! Fuck!
Hey.
What are you guys doing down there?
Nothing.
We tumbled. Ow!
I think this is a bad way to go.
I'm
I
in
do
a
think so.
I'm in a worse spot than I was after the sea urchins.
Oh no.
That's saying a lot. Because it's just like completely inverted. Yeah, I think where Michael is over there might not be a bad idea.
I don't know that I agree with that assessment.
I don't know.
I
Haven't
don't
gone all
have
the way
enough
over there.
energy. Ow.
Oh,
I need
I don't
food.
need your help.
I need food. Oh.
Am I dead? What's happening?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, when you die, you turn into a ghost and you can spectate everybody.
Oh, I'm gonna be spooky.
You gotta. You gotta.
I do have some cookies. We have.
There's a
thick
whole other
mints.
mountain over here. Let's
Oh,
go
you gotta
see
hold
this
it.
way.
Does it have to be broken?
Yeah. Throw it against
Oh.
that rock. Hold Q.
What'd you call me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh no. Don't dis
After me, I steal it. Nom 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 nom. Ah, it's better.
I might see a way up over here. I'm gonna try something.
You also need food. But you have a dog in your lap. Yes, dog priority. I don't know what to do.
You go.
I don't know where. Oh.
Hmm.
Wow, look at that.
Might be good up here because there's like a little landing up here.
I might need you to yank me up.
Okay.
Garret, where
I'm
did
coming.
you go?
I'm in the
I-
edge.
I thought it was gonna be cool and explore.
I can't reach. Ah!
I'm trying to hold on my hand.
And now
I
I'm
can't make it. It's too far.
and now I'm lost.
I need more food.
No, I'm at the wood bridges.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Here,
See you.
Chi. I'm gonna throw. Oh no!
Okay,
You see
throw
me
me
jumping?
some
I'm gonna throw you some
Yes.
cookies. There you go. Emergency cookies.
emergency cookies. Oh,
There seems to be a lot more plateaus on this side
Oh, over
as
there.
opposed to straight up.
oh no! I threw them. I didn't mean to.
Oh no!
Oh frick heck.
Oh no! I went in the ouchie. Come here. Okay, I got it.
I hate the ouchies.
Because where are you, Garrett? You're like over there?
All the way back.
All the way back? Okay. We should go by them.
Yeah, back
Okay.
to the wood bridges.
Oh, okay, like all the way back. I
Oh.
think this is the easier way, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
I like how these characters like kind of scuttle. We're just very.
I know. I
careful.
feel like we're just crabs in human bodies. Like on Men in Black. The,
Mhm.
the roach guy wore a human suit,
Or it's like we have a really stiff back.
right?
Sugar.
We're like a bunch of kids. Just funny.
Is this a cave?
He's not
Ow.
usually in my lap. He's too old and chunky. I had to pick him up. Aww. I just wanted to be with you.
Guys, bad things happened.
What happened?
Uh-oh.
I was up in a tree,
Just
and now I'm down in a hole.
Oh, I see the
Oh,
bed.
no.
Oh,
And
Oh, no.
3/4 of my health
Oh, no.
bar
It's
is
like
now red broken
down
heart.
here,
Yeah.
I think.
3/4? You're worse off than me.
Oh,
3/4 of my
no.
heart is gone.
Oh no.
Oh, good thing this is the tutorial, right?
No. This is level 1.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I mean, the good news is this is just the start, and it
Yeah.
only gets easier. Like all video
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
they become simpler and
Yeah.
less complex as you
Yeah.
play them longer.
As you get
Yeah,
close to the
totes.
peak.
That's totally what happens, guys.
Most
I don't-
definitely.
Especially in the level with the desert.
I
That's
like
the
desert.
easiest one.
I don't like her.
Historically speaking, nothing has ever
Oh.
gone wrong.
I don't like her tone.
Ow.
In general.
I got an owie.
I definitely lost you guys.
I'm down by the bridge now.
Okay, I'm trying to find it my way back to the bridge, and I can't.
I can't even
just-
climb this
I
pillar.
just slid down. There's a way to slide down, I forgot. It's like if you hold onto the side and... I can't remember.
Oh, I found the fog.
Ooh.
No, not the frag.
It's spooky over here.
Zeph! Hello, 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 hello. Hello. It's like trying to climb in Zelda Breath of the Wild. Is it? I've never played that. I'm a bad gamer. I never got into Zelda games.
I still call myself a Zelda gamer even though I only played Ocarina of Time.
That's the only one that matters, right?
It's so good. Apparently they're doing like remake or something.
How are
like
you in
that.
Zeph friends?
Right?
Star Wars?
Yep.
Anybody got some of that?
Here's Michael down
foods?
there. He's got his binoculars being all nosy.
You peeper.
You heal over time, or do you have to heal that?
You have to heal, yeah.
All right,
Oh,
because
the
I
fog
can't.
is like, oh no.
I
That
can't
fog
get
is
up this
coming in
pillar.
hot.
Oh. Do you have... Turn around, Zeph. Let's see what's in your backpack. Oh, we don't have any bandages to heal you.
You know, that fog is coming in hot.
Oh.
Does it like eat you?
I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Step down onto
Oh,
this
no.
ledge.
Yeah, here. Give me your hand.
We gotta find
Kyber, not
bandages
now.
for
Mommy's
Michael.
busy. Kyber's like, I need cuddles now. I'm like, no, mommy's climbing. I'm trying to run away from the fog.
I want the remake I got my Switch 2. Now bring it, Nintendo. Oh.
Wait,
Alas,
Zeph,
I
come
do
here.
not have a Switch
I don't know
2.
where
Turn
Garret
around.
is. Garret, where'd you go?
I'm in a cave.
In a cave?
I don't know.
Oh, gain some health back.
Nice, because you got that medicinal root that you tucked away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what those were.
Ah, ooh. Kyber, not now, buddy.
I'm scared
Oh,
of
no,
that
I'm-
fog
So
because
much
I don't know what it is.
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna die in this
afraid.
cave.
What?
I feel like it's gonna die. Right? I feel like we're gonna die if that fog, like, it's gonna be like impossible to do shit.
That's very possible.
Oh, is that
Right.
like a mechanic of like, hey, let's keep the thing moving?
Probably.
It could be.
It feels
but
like
I don't...
it.
Hey,
Can't.
why are you
Feels like
guys so
Fortnite.
slow?
Ow.
Yeah, how did fog catch up to you guys? Jeez.
Shit. Ah, help me! No!
Oh,
Ouch.
where are you?
I tried to make it up the thing. I'm like,
I
pretty
tried
hungry.
to too and I failed.
I'm gonna go this way because it looks
Oh, I
like
see orange.
more gradual.
Is it me?
I don't. I threw my binoculars because I didn't think I would need them.
Oh.
I have them.
I hear you!
Wait.
He's up there on the hill!
I heard him too, but I don't know where he is. Hi,
Where
Red.
is
He's
he?
up to the right. He's like back up that way.
Oh no!
Back up which way?
Oh no! I blew
Oh,
my
no!
vehicle too hard. No, we stop.
Wait,
Wait,
what?
what? What's going on?
I whipped the camera around while bugling, and then it just threw me off the. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, this is awful.
So yeah. Oh,
Oh,
shit,
no.
the fog.
Oh.
Oh no, it's cold. Fuck. We're
Oh.
so
Oh, I
cooked.
got the cold.
We're so done.
Oh,
We're gonna
this is
die.
a tutorial.
We're freezing to death.
Guys, hurry. I can't. I don't know if I can get back up to the ledge I was at because of the hunger bar.
And we got like the cold
I can't.
thing
I
going
also
on.
can't see anything because everything's purple.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's all purpley.
So we found out what the fog is.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
ouchy.
that tasted
apparently.
purple.
Oh, I have
Okay, Louie.
no energy.
Oh no!
Me either.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
We're
dead.
done for.
You guys
Oh,
have
no.
disappeared into the fog.
I
I'm
dead.
about to die. Goodbye,
Guys, no.
Die
Zeph.
soon too. Goodbye.
I love getting serenaded to sleep.
No, save Bing Bong!
I have him, but now I have you. Oh no, you're too heavy.
I
I
know.
can't see anything.
At least we'll
Oh,
die together.
no.
Okay, that's fine.
How you guys?
Goodbye,
How you guys
Will.
doing down
Wait.
there?
We're
I
dead.
Wait,
heard
what is
you
this?
Play
What is
tap.
this?
Womp womp. Rip.
Why do I have to watch you two die in each other's arms? This is bullshit.
Oh, I'm not long for this world.
Oh no, you're skeleton.
I like the little skeletons. I think they're cute. My friend Trey has a skin for his character that looks like a, or it's like a, he has like these cat ears. And then there's this one item you can get that turns you into a skeleton, and he was a skeleton with cat ears. It was really cute.
Oh no, that was cute.
Your body was never
I love-
found.
Oh no.
Michael
love
climbed
that-
one
that-
more meter than us.
That line is functionally flat.
It
I
is.
just want to make this very
all I
clear.
see, all I see is mine's at the top.
If you look at that green line about 3/4 of the way across, there's that part where it suddenly drops like 20 meters. That's-
Is that the equivalent of 3/4 of a health bar?
It is. It is. In case you're wondering.
Hell yeah.
Multipass.
Oh, you're Karen. You're so strong.
Guys, I already missed my bugle.
Multipass. Dallas.
It's Mama Chichi.
I want to watch The Fifth Element. Huh?
Huh?
Everyone got your passports?
No, I lost it.
I know.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got
we're
the
flying back to
power.
hell.
But
Back
this,
to-
this is not.
No,
hell.
we're gonna go to the right side this time, and it's
The
gonna
No,
be
Mesa-
go
real.
left again.
The Mesa
Please
level
don't.
is hell.
We're gonna go so fast.
This level was hell.
No, the Mesa level is 1,000 times worse. Trust.
No, this
Alright.
one.
The Mesa
Google?
level has the sun that can burn you, tornadoes,
Oh, does this get rid of the
cactuses,
fog?
Oh, that's
and a
so annoying.
sarlacc pit.
Wait, what it gets rid of what? Ooh, does
Does this
someone want
get
to
rid
put
of
the
the fog?
bandages in my backpack?
Oh, I don't know what it does.
Oh, I don't know.
Rachel,
That's actually
why
a
didn't
really
you
great
use
question.
any of the things we gave you?
Because I forgot I had them. Out of sight, out of mind. That's ADHD, baby.
Here, put these in
Go
your
ahead and put it in my
backpack.
back.
Where's this?
Okay.
Where's this bugle at?
No, no, no,
Wait,
no,
wait,
no! Stop
wait.
it! No, dang it!
There we go. Okay.
I'm relegated to a flare.
Desire the ads to disappear. You better
I'm wondering if
subscribe,
Chewie can hear
sucker.
that through my headset.
I wonder because he started barking. Hey, Michael, catch. Hey, Chi, catch this.
Oh, okay. Ow. I don't know if there's
catch it with
I
that.
don't think there's an actual way to catch it.
Right? I was
But it
wait,
looks
gotta
like
charge
Bing
this shit
Bong.
up. It does look like Bing Bong. It's so cute. Oh no. Where did I put it? Oh wait, here we go. Okay.
Put it in your pocket.
Go.
Oh, I
Caught it! You over. You did catch it.
I just
Spammed E.
Yeah.
Wait, do it.
Oh,
Hold on.
there's so many good like tips and tricks in this.
Oh.
Yeah!
Let's
Wow.
go! It like hit you in the shins and you picked it up.
Are there really like what is
Freedom.
it, Garrett?
Back to Donk. Donk?
Yeah,
Oh, you heard the sound. Yeah.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
that's like the manual on how the controls and stuff work.
Yeah. Somebody jump on top of me.
Is it like a? You're like this. Oh.
I think I can like throw you up somehow. I didn't read that
Right?
hard apparently.
Oh, here. Oh.
Okay.
It made a
it's like
boing.
It did make a
It did
boing.
make
I
a
feel like we did
boing.
something.
So I think you can like boost people up.
That makes so much sense.
Turn page.
Okay. Sure. All right, let's go before we starve to death on the beach. Unless you want to read down the way.
No, I'm gonna put it down. Here we go. All right, which way should we go this time? Where's
Where you
Michael?
guys at?
Where's
I'm gathering
Michael?
food. I'm gathering
Michael.
food.
Oh,
Michael! Michael!
Oh. They call me.
There's
Mr.
lots of food over here.
She. I think
Is
those
this
are
good stuff?
poisonous.
I'll let you know.
Isn't that one that Zeph ate?
Oh, this gives you energy.
Oh, okay.
I ate a green one.
Oh, it was a green
I
one.
got yellow.
Just be careful.
Oh, I
'cause,
definitely had a green one earlier. That would have been fun.
Garrett, I have
Um,
bad news for you.
No, what? What happened? No.
That was the worst throw ever of all time. Not my
Wait.
fault. Someone put a wall in my way.
Crisp. They call me
All right.
Mr. Sweet. I hope they meet the friendly Scoutmaster. There's no
Garret,
friendly
how-
Scoutmaster.
Do you want to show us where you got last time?
Yeah.
Please don't show us the hole.
You don't show us
What?
the hole. Like
No, it was a fun cave.
Scoutmaster? Yeah, because we're a bunch of little scouts.
Mm-hmm.
We're a bunch of kids in this game.
Follow my bugle.
Follow the
I think my
leader.
favorite.
There is a Scoutmaster? Wait, who's the Scoutmaster? I don't remember that last time.
Oh goodness, no! Come back.
Maybe it's like an NPC that you meet or something.
I don't know what to do with
somewhere.
this.
Maybe like
It's the
This
fog.
will be fun.
It's the
oh,
fog!
it's just the fog. Wait, did you set off the flare?
Yep.
Well, that would have been helpful, so we could have found you later.
Nah.
Don't worry though, it's blue.
I like how he doesn't
Oh
finish
Jesus,
his
there's a
sentence.
jellyfish there. Oh no.
I like how he doesn't finish
Oh my
his
God.
sentence. Oh no! Zeph!
I keep slipping
No!
on the jellyfish. I'm stuck on the jellyfish.
No!
How do I don't need that
Nice.
either.
Oh.
Oh my
okay.
God, I was stuck on
It
the
would let me steal
jellyfish.
your backpack, but not grab you to get you away from the
Oh.
finish.
Likely
No,
story.
that's what I would do.
Hi, Gnome. Welcome in.
The smoke is still blue. It's
Seen
not
the
white. They
shrimp farm.
haven't
You
chosen
don't
want to
meet
yet.
the Scoutmaster, but who is that? I never seen them before.
Probably don't spoil though. I would assume if there's a spoiler involved.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Shh. Red.
Here,
Sh-
there's a coconut.
Red setting
you have
us up for
space.
danger.
Take a full one.
I'm gonna eat this. Nom nom nom.
Garrett.
Huh?
Blow.
Coconut.
Yeah, hold on.
I knew it was a bad thing. I had a feeling as well.
Trying to find you. Oh. We're getting closer.
how-
The music's getting more somber.
It's getting more somber.
Or sultry? I'm not sure which.
Wait, if it's dark, does that mean it's gonna get foggy? Already?
no, I think there was like a notification for it.
I think the
Oh.
fog was triggered by us getting a certain amount of distance, and then after we reached that distance, we stopped progressing.
Oh.
I
What do you
think
mean?
So.
When
Garrett's
you-
like, yeah, speak for yourself.
If Red's excited about it, then it can't be good, right?
No.
Aw.
Ooh, luggage.
It's getting so low.
Energy drink, fortified milk,
Oh, hello.
rescue claw.
I
Hey,
see
blue
you.
orange. I went up to the
Ooh.
left.
I see you.
Here.
Over here,
Who's got room for something?
like over this way.
I don't. My inventory is. Well, actually,
Yeah, that way.
I can get rid of this.
Zeph,
Uh,
I need your backpack.
okay.
There we go. We don't
Put
need
it
that.
in.
What the hell is that?
It's a rescue claw.
The claw.
I don't know why you guys keep ignoring all this stuff over here. There's fortified milk, an energy drink.
I'm trying to go up.
The energy drink is.
I'm trying to make sure we're well
Michael's a loot
equipped.
goblin.
That's how we starved last time.
Zeph, throw that. Oh, God. See, this is why you were supposed to stay here. Here.
You're trying to throw it. Oh shit. Oh my god, no. I got it. But I don't have...
We can put it in your backpack.
Okay, here.
Got your milk. Wait. There we go. Is it heavy?
Okay. I'm doing okay. It's not taking too much.
Just because I crave violence doesn't mean I wish it on my friends. You're such a liar.
Seems fake.
Yeah, Red. Come on now. I know you better than that, bro.
I wish violence specifically on Chi.
Oh. I'm just a cute little bun. I wouldn't hurt nobody. Except maybe a spider. Your backpack's
Spider
angry.
Spider Chi. Spider Chi. We're a good Boy Scout. He's like, no one gets left behind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Anybody
there's
else
Oh,
hungry?
The fog rises! So it must be when we hit a certain spot.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Oh no! My energy failed me!
I know, me too.
Oh, I fall down.
Garret, are you still
Somebody
climbing?
over there.
Uh,
No, Michael.
oh no.
We're okay. My energy will recoup, and then I'll be okay. I don't understand why I don't grab the wall. At times.
Me either.
Because it's goofy. I think it depends on the
Parkour.
steepness and the angle.
Mm-hmm.
How far did it rise? Goodness.
It's not the purple fog, at least.
Yeah.
Mushroom.
Because the purple stuff is the crazy stuff.
I can't see.
Does anyone have a lantern or no?
No, I left that at the bottom.
Maybe
Oh
we're just-
no!
I think we're going. Is it because we're going the wrong way? It's the edge
Yeah.
of the map
Going the wrong
fog.
way.
Oh, it's the edge of the
Oh,
map.
is that what this-
Oh, okay.
No, it's trying to kill us.
No,
Hard mode.
no.
Let's go through the map fog.
Yeah, no, that actually is better, so okay, that makes sense.
That could have explained why I didn't get too much further than what I did.
Mm.
I know.
Oh, you can make it, Michael. No.
Bork. Bork, bork.
Bork.
Bork, bork. Bork, bork.
Well, I lost half a coconut.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
Do we go up or over?
I don't know.
Let's see what over looks like.
We just need to keep going up. Bork, 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 bork.
Oh, over is pretty cool.
Okay.
Over's pretty cool over that way.
But
Do we trust him?
Hubba borked. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
I'm so floppy. Damn it, Red. Okay.
God.
Fuck. Hubba thinks he's a dog now, I guess. Hubba.
Ooh, luggage and fruits. We hit the jackpot.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, you said the green is bad?
Yeah. Yeah,
Should we eat this?
I think it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was green. Because it, like, wasn't ripe yet. I think the yellow one is the good one.
Yeah, the yellow one was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, break this.
No, the green one's fine. Oh, it's not fine. Oh, it's not fine. Oh, it's so delayed.
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't do the boo-boo first.
But it did get rid of some hunger.
I apologize for the babu barks, everyone.
Oh, that's okay.
First aid kit.
Don't worry, I had to listen to it in my chat, so it's fine. Ruff.
Stop.
Ruff.
Ruff.
I think
I just looked
this
over and
side
Red
over
has just said
here.
Borg 87 times in the
Yes.
last 3 minutes.
It was it was the text to speech, so it came out of my robot friend on stream.
Bork, 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 bork.
Yeah, it was just bork, 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 bork,
We have
bork.
neighborhood security man is Babu.
Yes. More borks? No! Not more borks!
Orkin?
Oh, there's a first aid kit in here. I'll carry it. Does anybody need first aid desperately?
I'm doing
I watched
okay.
Garret fall right as you said that.
No, I'm fine.
So there's maybe we need
Ow.
to like boost each other. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, you can boost or grab from the top to help.
All right.
Oh, there's. Oh
Definitely
no.
gonna need an arm. Oh no.
Oh, no,
no!
help. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Don't careful of the pokey guy.
Oh no.
You want to do
Oh.
it? You
Ow,
wanna
my
boost?
Oh, they both fell!
Ow!
Oh.
Ow! In the
Oh,
plant.
yeah, let's not panic. Everything's fine.
Okay, if you crouch, someone can jump on you.
It gives you a little boosty boosty.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works, but...
I think the bottom person has to jump.
I think so.
Oh no. Help!
Wait, let me try going first because I have a lot of stamina still.
Good.
I'm like, I'm not doing great right now.
Okay, this is a lot higher up than I thought.
Oh, what the
We can't go
what
this way. Ow! It's too
I wonder
tall.
if this side over here.
What if we go
would
to
be a
the
little
right
better.
around the sea urchin?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think we should keep doing the same thing.
Cause there's like a little like ledge right here too.
Yeah, there's
This
like a
little
bump.
knob. Yeah.
It's a knob.
What'd you
the
call me?
knobby part.
No, no,
Knob.
I pants.
I don't think it's flat enough. Ow. It's close though.
It is not flat enough.
Hmm.
Let me try. It'll probably be way different when I do it.
Ah!
This is awful.
Right. I'm like, oh no.
I may have found the solution over here, guys.
Oh nice.
They call me Mr. Shmee.
Nah.
Look, chat, you're on my head. You like it up here, don't you, chat? Hey, there's like a little peekaboo hole right here.
There's just
Don't
like
do
a
it,
little,
it's a trap.
There's
little
a bridge.
places to kind of sit.
Yeah. Hat hats, thank you. I like hat hats.
Oh! Hey, thanks.
Pushing me off!
I found a
Panic.
suitcase. Huh?
Oh, oh no!
Huh?
Oh no!
Where are you guys at? That's just her burr. Apple.
Steph over here.
I need to heal. I'm using the
Alright,
bandage.
you probably.
'cause I'm
Never. I
very
think you. I
injured.
think you fell from where I'm trying to say.
I believe I did. Here, I'm gonna come up. This way. Okay, so
I
like
do
over
have
there.
rope as well.
Where are you
Wait
guys?
to your right. Steph to the right.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Where you guys at? I can't see you.
Oh,
Have you tried looking?
Yeah.
and then this way. Oh, oh no. We kind of went around the rock over on the other side. It's like on the other side of that sea urchin where we were before.
Oh, I'm up.
Oh, you're up.
See, I think,
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
I think Zeph's or yeah, she's way ahead of us.
Oh, is she? Oh, yeah. Oh, she's all the way over there.
Uppies.
Damn, I thought I saw blue.
Oh. Hi, Cyphus. How
And
are
she's
you?
over here.
I'm up here.
There she is.
I don't know where you guys are, though. I can't see you.
We're right below you.
I just hear brr every once in a while. There's no good way to look without fall. Oh, there. Okay, I see you guys now. Hi.
Yeah, holding shift doesn't work.
No.
Unfortunately.
No, it does not.
There's no Minecraft.
Not Minecraft.
Oh no. Whew.
Is there a ledge up there, Garrett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big plateau up here.
Oh, nice.
Energy drink.
All right.
Must go to bridge.
Dang, if we can get over there and go that way looks like a better way to get up.
It really does. I agree.
Is that a mushroom on the side of the rock?
Oh my god, ow. I think my leg. Oh, I
I
thought
need,
I broke my
I
leg.
need mushroom. What is that?
Can't see
Oh,
the
yeah,
bridge.
that is a mushroom, isn't it? It
Oh
looks
no!
creepy and glowing.
Oh no! Oh no! I fell! Ow!
No! Oh god!
I got an owie.
Oh no! The bridge! The bridge! Get off the bridge!
Oh no!
I got a really bad boo boo.
Oh no!
Oh no, guys! Can't put everyone on the bridge.
You need me to kiss your boo boo. Hold on, give me the boo boo kit and I can heal it for you. I think, unless you can heal it yourself.
Yeah, I gotta do it myself, I think. There we go. Okay. Oh, dang, that made it all go away. Let's go. Now I'm just
Damn.
hungry. What was that sound? Oh, I think it's just
Whatever it is,
music.
I don't like it.
I'm gonna grab
I'm
this
in-
bulbous part and climb it.
I'm in rough shape.
Oh, it's just the music. Okay.
Oh, got it.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow.
I have a remedy fungus.
Oh, keep it. It's probably for curing poison or something. Oh no! I can't!
Oh, Chochi, no!
I almost made it.
I'm not sure I can make it up to the top of this. Yeah, I can't. Oh,
Maybe if I go
wait, yes!
here, I can stand.
Did somebody have a rope?
I got a
I
standy
still have a
spot
good amount
right
of
here.
energy.
The guy in last place has
Yeah,
the-
throw that up here.
Oh
Throw that on up here.
no!
Oh, that's not.
Oh, snagged it.
Oh, I'm pretty injured. Oh, yes! No!
Oh no!
no!
Okay. Ah! Oh!
Oh no!
Is that bad
What is
rendered distance or
happening?
Floating island. Where?
You're coming
did-
down with me.
How'd I fall?
I
What?
don't know. I'm so
Here, have some
confused.
I felt like-
snacks.
Here,
I fell
Chi.
like 5
Here.
feet and then
Come here.
I lost half my health.
Give me your hand. I need a lunge.
The
in
snacks
side.
make it
Trying.
better.
I know. Here, go over this side because there's a flat spot right here.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Oh, I was doing the best, and now
Oh,
I'm
Michael's coming.
not.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm pretty injured and hungry. I only have like half of my health right now.
Right.
I
half
think
of
my
my
remedy
stamina.
fungus will heal my
Rachel, go ahead.
I don't
Hurt?
know.
You
You
might
could
hurt?
try.
Go ahead. What?
Go.
Oh.
You
Okay.
could try eating it and see. I'm not sure what it
Oh,
does.
there's actually not even a action to use it.
Oh, maybe you have to use it on someone else.
Possibly. I think you have to acknowledge that it's just like a ghost rope. I think you have to click a button. You probably have to. I think I saw like a hook on the wall. Maybe you have to drop the rope and then hook it to the wall.
I think I have to. Oh,
Oh,
I think I have to tie it to something.
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
there's like a climbing thing. Oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
there you
Heck
go.
yeah.
Tied to the wall.
oh, this is so
Yeah.
much easier, guys.
That's
That
so
was
good.
just the rope.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
You don't get it back. It's there forever.
Oh,
oh.
Well.
good to know.
Well,
We'll know for next time.
onward. What do you mean next time? We're gonna win. Wait, where'd that first aid kit? No, you guys probably used it.
I used it
Yeah,
because
she
I
used
was
it.
half dead.
That's
I
fair.
can't get up there.
Eat that green apple.
Oh, I'm coming
Yeah.
back.
I gotta wait.
Oh, suitcase. Come here, suitcase. What's inside
yeah,
of you?
thank you.
Woo.
Need food.
Trail mix and a
Trail
sports drink.
mix.
Garrett, all sport.
Frick yeah.
Are there any berries or apples or whatever?
Trail mix.
No.
Trail mix will help with the hungers.
That looks real easy to climb over to the left.
Yeah, that's
and there's a
what I was
luggage.
Yeah, there is.
The
I
right
agree.
seems more difficult.
Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
we need to go this way. Just be careful of the jellyfish.
We came from this way though.
We kinda did.
Eh,
We
fine.
did, but we need to go up.
They're pretty fine, I bet. I definitely have the stamina for this.
I don't even think I can get up there, and I have a bit of stamina.
Just
What if I have this
blows
energy
the horn
drink?
of confidence.
Oh no. I hate it here.
The guy's gotta toot his horn before he climbs the mountain, you know.
No, no.
Oh
Oh, gee, I
I'm
knew
so
you well.
close. Oh no. Ow.
no! Oh god.
Okay, I have a crashy now because I drank an energy drink.
Oh no.
I almost
Okay,
made
yeah.
it up there with the energy drink though.
So we want to go to the right side?
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like the other way is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because the bridge.
Ooh, a bridge. Let's all stand on it.
For the next plane of
Sounds like a
scouts.
plan.
I'm already standing on it.
I found mushroom. I found mushrooms.
Don't eat it. It might be
Ooh.
poisonous.
No, they're button shrooms. They're okay.
Yeah, I don't
At
know
this
which
point, I
ones
don't
are
even-
good and which ones are bad. I know there's a
The buttons
poison
are
one
okay.
and a good one.
I'll tell
I'm
you.
not too I'm not too hungry if you guys need it.
I'm pretty hungry.
Me too.
Okay. That helped a little bit.
Yeah. Not much, but a little bit.
Gotta stave away to hunger.
None of these trees have coconuts.
It's because everyone knows coconuts don't grow it.
Put
Higher
the line
altitudes.
in the coconut and drink it
They don't
all.
migrate up here, you know?
Oh yeah, migrate. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the season.
Well, it is the season. That's why they're not here.
Oh. Wait.
Are we getting edge mapped again?
Possibly.
We're getting edged.
We are.
Ah.
Yeah, I think we need to go back towards the left.
Yeah, like up the tree. I wonder if you can like stand on top of the tree to regain stamina.
It looks like
You can.
Try that.
Floating Island. What
do
the
that.
heckers?
Don't do that.
Where?
Oh,
I ran out of energy.
I did too.
You ran out trying to climb the tree?
Hello?
Because
Hello.
there's stuff over.
Where have you guys gone?
The tree do be harder to climb for some reason than the wall. Ow!
Did nobody follow me?
Where are you?
No,
You-
we were distracted by
You
the tree.
lost your headset.
He's over this way.
Oh,
What do you
I
mean?
see it now, Red.
You didn't say anything for a minute.
Yeah, where are you?
I got
Okay.
locked in.
I'm dying.
Go. Can you teach me? Okay.
Yeah, over
I can
here.
see you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're doing it, guys. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna do so
Zeph,
good.
Zeph, turn around.
Wait,
Zeph,
oh, there
turn
you
around.
are.
Oh,
Oh, he's over
oh,
here.
oh.
I was like, how?
Oh God, what's happening with
No.
my controls? Okay,
That's a
well,
risky-
I'm not gonna make it.
That's a risky bunch of coconuts.
I believe in you.
There we go. Thank
We're
you.
close to the fire. We're getting really close. We can do it.
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
we're survivalists.
Where's Michael? Are you ahead?
He's
Yep.
over here. I can see it.
Yay!
There should be
First
food when I
try.
Get there too. Totes.
Nailed it.
I don't know why you said that like it wasn't our first try.
Yeah, totes.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
just a
I went the
tutorial.
wrong way.
Done. Part 1 of 78 or 87. I mean.
Oh no, Garrett.
That's probably fine, I bet.
Yeah, totes.
I can give you 1.5 foot of rope.
Man, this is a calf workout.
Meow.
Moo.
Meow.
Moo.
Meow. Oh yeah, there's
Too
another
soon,
backpack
Chi.
too.
Oh, marshmallow. Well, that takes care of a lot of hunger.
That makes sense.
What about injured?
It did not.
Hmm.
There's
Some food
bandages
to
right
get.
here. In this
Gimme, gimme, gimme,
suitcase.
gimme,
I am
gimme,
very
gimme.
injured. I have
We're
like
all-
a third of my
Oh.
HP. I think all of us are though.
Oh yeah,
Same.
go for it, Zeph.
Oh, are you sure? I have
Yeah,
like
go
a
for it.
third. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm
Somebody
probably about the
died?
same.
Somebody died here.
Dear Diary, bad news. The ship captain made an oopsie, and we've wound up crashed on this mysterious island. Thankfully, mysterious islands are my specialty. With our whole troop working together,
What'd you
we'll
do?
reach the top of the peak and signal for help in no time. In the
I
meantime,
got the
I'll
Book of
take this
Bones.
opportunity to add some additional pages to my favorite guidebook, Scoutmaster Myers. Wait, is that the dead guy over
Oh.
here?
There's no longer a dead guy. I touched him and his head fell off.
Oh, okay. That must be the Scoutmaster that everybody was talking about in chat.
But I got the Book of Bones.
Ooh.
Is
Oh
that
no, I don't
Oh,
like
that's
that
the one that turns you
fog
into a
coming
skeleton.
in.
Do
Guys,
it.
that fog's coming in pretty quick right now.
Do we have to light this campfire?
Probably because the fog is coming in. So I wonder if it's like a protection against the cold.
So we're supposed to do something that'll move us on to the next level, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh.
I think
Yeah,
it's
did
that we started the campfire.
Okay, but
There it is.
That's
Look at that.
sure.
Jumbled mess.
Yeah,
Oh
okay.
no.
Oh, that looks fine.
Oh, fuck. Well.
All right, I'm gonna drop this remedy fungus, even though it sounds cool. Oh God!
Oh no.
Hey, I'm fully healed.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
it's
Oh
kind
wait,
of
get
an
over
area
here.
of
Get in
effect
here.
thing.
Get in here. Get in here.
Get in here.
Oh, too late.
It's like an area of effect. That's kind of badass,
Yeah.
actually. Good to know.
Oh, I didn't know that's what that did. Dang.
Shit.
Wow, that's so. Imagine I had that the whole time. That'd be crazy.
Weird.
Wait, was there? Did you get all the coconuts that were here?
Yeah,
apples
yeah.
and
I have
stuff?
2 of them in my inventory. Here, do you want to take one because it's kind of heavy?
Yeah.
Here,
Rope.
here you go.
Oh, is this
It's it's
Oh
the remnant.
no! Wait, or did you get it? Okay, good.
I got it. I got it. We're good.
the? Oh, why is it so deep over there?
That's what she said.
What? Why do I want to climb the spiky vine?
No.
Is that
Let
that
your
fine?
dreams be dreams.
Oh,
That looks very intense. I was like so proud. I'm like, look at how we did that, and then that. Oh fuck.
Like camping.
Mm-hmm.
Totes.
So, do we go to the left and then see what happens?
I feel like the
Or
right has
is
more
there-
little like,
Yeah, I feel you on the right side.
yeah, it has like little plateaus
There's
everywhere.
2 luggages
maybe?
in the middle.
There are.
We go to the middle.
Ow! Careful.
So if you hold onto the wall and push down, you'll slide down the wall.
Ouch.
And then
Oh,
you're
no.
less likely to get ouchies.
How do you
You'll just climb
It's
down if you
raining?
hold the wall and
Uh-oh.
climb. Oh yeah.
how do you
it
hold
rains.
onto the wall?
Left click?
Oh no, it's wet too. Oh no. Oh no.
So
Yeah, it
the
makes
the
the-
middle seemed like a great idea.
The rain makes it slippery. Oh, wait.
The
there's
middle
one
sounded
coming.
really cool until we.
Got to here. And we can't get over
Yeah.
there now.
And we see it
Oh,
as like, well,
no.
fuck.
Alright, well. We fucked up.
There's an orange fruit.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we can go down on the floor. We have to get down there
That's
without
true.
dying.
It worked.
Ah!
Oh no.
I'm climbing the tree somehow.
I found berry nana.
Berry Nana?
It's probably fine to eat, right? Berry nana peel. Oh, come here. Hey, somebody come look. Come.
Oh, God.
Stand over here.
Wait, I don't know where Garrett went.
I'm at the bottom.
Yeah, he's like way down there. He climbed down the wall over here. I'm coming down.
I'm coming home.
I was just thinking that! Yeah, if you hold left click,
Oh
you'll
no!
hold onto the wall.
Oh no! That was very bad.
Look, a banana peel.
I'm like almost
Oh!
dead.
No!
Guys, don't touch the banana peels. They do instant health damage.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean, I was doing it for the lulz.
No, I threw
Oh,
it
no.
right at Zep after
I
she
know.
just fell. Oh, you can grab the vines.
Wait, the yellow one's bad?
Yep.
What is this?
No, yellow good.
The yellow
It's the
good,
red
green
ones.
is bad.
Oh,
Oh, green
is
is
that
bad.
pomegranate?
It's a purple kingberry.
Oh,
Oh.
that sounds made up.
Everything's made up.
Oh, dang it. So, has anyone tried to climb the spiky vine?
You can't. I don't think you can. I think it hurts you. You can try.
Yeah, it poisons you.
Why did you both try?
Listen, you have to make sure that there's
Listen.
it's scientific method. You have to make sure there's multiple things.
Listen, Linda, listen.
Listen.
Alright. It's looking like this might be an okay pathway.
Yeah, but what about the middle with all the luggages?
It's alright. We'll probably find more luggages.
No, probably not.
Yeah, we
I'm
will.
like-
Don't be a silly goose.
Is anyone else able to take the backpack? Because I have like maybe 1/10 of my energy bar. Because I am very injured. Oh no.
Yeah. Put it down.
Okay, here. Because that way it'll at least kind of like maybe I can get rid of this
Wait, how do I
coconut
pick
and
it
like
up?
you have to like open it with E and then like click like with
I
your mouse
see.
down. Yeah.
There's a luggage.
I need to break this open.
That's why I'm waiting. I'm heading this
Okay, I
direction.
have a little bit more. I do need bandages though once we get or if we get that. I hope I can make it.
Did we not put bandages in your backpack?
We used it.
Oh, we used it already. Okay.
Malk.
Need some
Milk.
Get this man some milk.
Milk.
I don't think this is a way up. I think over there's a way up, though. What's that? What's that? What? It's a waterfall?
I think so.
That or is just like a Goku power up looking aura.
That might be something that might be ouchy, but I'm not sure.
Nah, probably not.
I'm pretty sure this level has plants that if you touch them, they explode and it hurts because it's like poison or something. Wait,
Like
just
real
got
life.
up here. We're going back down?
I didn't see any way up or around. Hey, this is a poison plant. Careful.
Oh.
Hey, there's something down there. What is that?
Down where?
Oh, there's like a
Underwear.
book or there's a milk carton.
Oh.
Oh, coming. Oh no! Oh goodness! That was brutal.
Oh no.
Ow. Ow.
Oh, I come to help you guys, and then I did.
I'm
oh.
poisoned.
Oh no.
It's okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Ah, thank you. Get Zeph. She's gonna
I'm
fall.
definitely gonna need it. Oh.
There's a suitcase.
Whew.
We need to find bandages.
Oh, there's like some sort of like fruit here. Are these pods? They look very dangerous.
Oh, those might
Look
be
like
the
fruits that
explodey
might
ones.
explode.
Oh, okay, got it. I was like,
Yeah.
those don't look friend-shaped to me.
I
Goodness.
fell on one in the last time we played and it blew up and I died.
Oh no.
Airline food and a rope cannon?
Ah! Ah!
Oh,
Ooh.
that doesn't look like the good kind of cloud.
No!
Nope, it's
Oh
not.
no.
Ow! Oh shit! I'm super dying.
Oh,
Who did
no.
this?
I have I have like no oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no, Zeph!
Oh
Zeph,
Wait,
what happened?
you're back up?
I passed out. Yeah, because the poison came back of whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have like one sliver of
Are you hungry
energy.
or
Huh?
She needs bandages.
just poisoned and hurt? Okay.
Very hurt, like half of my bar.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I need to wait until I have a little bit less poison. I can climb.
Maybe this will. How did that marshmallow give you any extra energy? Me?
I feel like it healed you a lot.
I don't remember.
I think it does give you a little extra energy, yeah.
Here,
Mhm.
whatever. Here you go, Zeph. Can you catch, or do you wanna?
Uh.
No, you know what? I'll just bring it. I'll bring it to you.
I was like, I don't know.
I'll bring that to you.
I don't know
Yeah,
where
that
that
just,
explodey plant came
My
from.
hunger. I don't know.
Because there was
That was
nothing
kind of
there, and then all of a
mysterious.
sudden, poof!
Right? It's like, whoa, where'd it come from?
It just spawned in!
Right?
They don't blow up? Yes, they do! Why are you lying, Red? Don't lie. Lying's bad, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Lying bad.
I don't know
Hmm.
how to go up from here.
I would
Is
agree
it
with
that
that
vine?
assessment.
So the little skinny green vines you can climb on.
Right.
Yeah, but those don't go anywhere.
And this one
goes
looks like it
over
might.
there.
It looks like it comes to the bottom of a mountain.
Yeah. I don't know who all has the stamina for this.
Hmm. Oh, geez, that's brutal. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I
Ooh,
used
you
up a
made
lot
it.
of my excess stamina. Oh, here. Hold on. Let me go up a little higher, and then. Oh, that's still not gonna be.
If only we had a rope.
Yeah. Hold on. Oh goodness.
What?
Okay. What happened?
I don't know what happened.
I have a rope cannon.
Oh,
What?
a rope cannon? Oh, Chi, you have something in your backpack, too. It's like the...
Oh yeah, the grabby
Why can't I use
thingy.
this
It's
now?
the take rescue claw.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
This is a up. I can only shoot this up.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh, Michael, no. Oh, God.
Oh no, Michael!
Oh,
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 no!
shit.
Stop! Poof!
Here, I'm going to try to climb. I think this is going to go very poorly, though, but... Oh, God, I'm already fucked. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, then they get
Oh,
slippery
man.
when it's raining.
Yep. Oh, no. Oh, okay. At least I didn't get hurt anymore, so there's that.
Nice.
Let me see if I can rope cannon up from there for you guys.
I know! I know! I know! Ah! Ah!
Oh, no.
Ah! Oh, I'm dead.
You
No, I'm
slid
not.
all the way
I'm not
down.
dead.
Oh, no.
I'm not dead. We're good.
Hello, friend.
Hi,
Whoa.
I fell.
Do you also have no energy?
Yeah, I have a blue.
No, I have a lot. Oh, you done
I
there?
did. And then transitioning from vine to wall didn't.
I don't know
didn't
what's
work.
in. I don't know what's in my bag.
It's like a harp. It's like a rescue gun thing.
Yeah, you have a rescue.
Oh, that's awful. And I now know how that works.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, I
That'd
didn't
be-
think that was gonna work. That would have been really helpful to use.
Ah, that'd be so helpful.
Oh, no.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
What?
The other
What?
direction,
I'm
but
so
yeah.
confused. What's happening right now?
I
Oh.
learned how to use an item.
Oh. Wait, did you?
We're
Because you were up
learning.
there and then
Kill Michael?
Yeah, I shot it down, and then the rope falls down. So the down went more down.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to shoot it up, I think.
If you
Yep.
knew that, why didn't you say that?
Well, he said it once, so I thought he knew what he was doing.
I don't know anything.
I don't either. It's okay. I
That's
actually
fine.
didn't know if that's what it was supposed to do, but
Oh.
The
Oh.
plot thickens. Oh no! I thought I could grab that!
Oh,
Okay. Where have... Oh, there they are.
Why can't I climb?
Because
What
you
is
need
this? Oh,
stamina
here's my
to
rope.
climb.
Duh, silly.
Hmm.
Oh, it's also slippery or something. I can't go anywhere. I don't have enough energy.
Do you
I'm
need
s-
a foods?
I'm stuck down here. This is
Do you
me.
need a
This is where I
foods,
live
or are
now.
you
This
or are
is
you
me.
injured?
I mostly need my injuries healed.
Oh goodness.
So me and Bing Bong, we just live down here now.
Don't.
He misses his wife.
Oh no!
Yes. Ask Bing Bong a question. Are we gonna die here, Bing Bong?
Please don't.
Aww.
Oh,
That didn't look good.
actually, I'm pretty okay. A little poisoned, but I'm pretty okay.
Please don't. Ah, I fell in a hole. Down in a hole. At least I have my comfort Bing Bong with me.
I might die. Oh no.
It's me and Bing Bong. Oh.
Binging and
First one
bonging.
dead.
Did
At
you
least I get to
die?
watch you guys now. I did.
Uh-oh.
Oh goodness,
I'm probably gonna die too.
poofing in front of me.
Oh, yeah, Garrett, you're like rich with
dead.
energy. Oh my god. She is
got-
like, if you sneeze, you're just done.
I know.
Yeah, there you go. Your hunger took over, and you're like, you're holding Bing Bong. It's so sad.
Bing Bong!
If anyone can get to me, there's
Bing.
a book of bones that I dropped.
Oh, I forgot about the Book of
Oh.
Bones. Yeah, Garrett, if you
It
get the
looks
Book
like
of
you
Bones.
are. Where's
I'm
the Book of
below
Bones?
below where you fell.
The Book of
Oh,
Bones
goodness.
turns you into a skeleton, and you like, I think it's like you have more stamina or something, and
Like something you need?
no, you have to be alive to use it. Oh wait, I'm alive again. What the heck? How'd that happen?
Oh yeah, because I think you, I don't know.
Oh,
Where'd
because the
you
backpack.
die?
Oh
Did the backpack fall off? Oh no, I'm still wearing it.
no.
Oh, it's
I
because
think
I'm not
'cause you
carrying
dropped-
Bing Bong.
Yeah, Bing Bong was too heavy. So Bing Bong tried to murder you.
No, Bing Bong.
Below me, it was a terrible. Oh, hey, I found a rope.
I'm dead.
Oh.
It's gonna kill you again.
No, Bing Bong!
Oh no, that's really funny. And
Hey, where'd you go?
I'm
now
gone.
I'm dead. Now I'm alive again. Now I'm dead. I'm alive again. Oh my god.
Is it just me
This
now?
kid picking him
I
up
think
and
it is,
dying.
Oh,
Well, she
goodness.
and Bing Bong are down there just going up and down, but it's mostly
Oh,
you.
here we go. Here's Trey, the expert on peak. So the Book of Bones, when you use it, it makes you immune to all but the red fall damage. So it'll
Mm.
heal your hunger but still be hurting. Also, you may take more fall damage as a skeleton.
Mm.
Find a berry or something. There's nothing down here. I'm on the floor. Oh no! Hi.
Hello.
I can't pick him up because then I die.
What does this do?
Oh!
Oh. What?
Is that what it does? Wait, if I pick it up,
I don't think you can
I'm probably gonna
pick it
die.
up.
Yep.
Oh no.
The girl who could carry nothing.
Oh
Oh, I'm alive
no.
again.
Jeez.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
save Bing Bong.
It
Oh,
feels so like.
Wait,
cheap.
Garrett, what
Oh.
happens? What happens if you shoot her?
That's a great question. Oh my god.
Oh, I'm
No!
dead, so it doesn't really matter. I was dead before he picked me up.
It hurt her. Oh my god.
He's carrying me. There's an item. What is the Trey? What's the item that brings people back to life? There is an item that does it if you do it before you give up, or you actually die, or whatever.
What?
No, Garrett, don't do it.
Into the fog.
You gotta play it. Play yourself out.
There's a barrier here. Oh,
Any
there we go.
healing item? What does the lantern thingy do? Oh,
No.
because we had a lantern at one point. What does that do?
What? How did you guys get that messed up from that? And I didn't. I just got knocked over.
It was like a purple cloud that killed that.
Play
Yeah,
yourself
like-
out.
Oh, so the lantern heals you and anyone that's near you while it's on.
Oh.
Man, look at all these things we're learning.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, we made it 48 minutes that time. I have a new hat.
I got a new outfit.
Hi, Chris.
I got 2 new hats.
How do I gamble on this?
Let's go gambling!
Aw, dang
Oh.
it.
Aw,
Chris.
dang it.
Oh, dang it.
Oh my god, I have such a cute little hat. Look at my hat. Isn't it fun?
Oh, the little chin strap.
It does.
Multi-pass. Lulu Dallas. Multi-pass. Do you have to start all the way from the beginning?
I think so.
Fuck. We're so boned.
Now we know how to do
We
it.
have a witch hat.
Guys! Guys!
Huh?
He's got his
Wait,
horn.
wait. What? How? It's not working.
No bugle, no bugle.
It might
I
not work
hate
in
it here.
here. No bugling in the airport.
Yeah, I can't use the binoculars.
Nuh-uh. You gotta ask Bing Bong a question and then squeeze him. Oh.
I miss my wife.
What the?
Oh. Gotta get closer.
Yeah! Woo! Score!
Oh, it bounced off the front.
Oh,
Bye, Bing Bong.
Yanked your horn. Another best well lobby area sounds like Phasmo. No, we don't play that game here.
It's
we
scaly.
don't use that kind of talk around here.
Ow! Bully! No fair! No! Ow! Zeph!
Are they bullying you?
Michael's bullying me! It's like high school all over again.
Ow!
Yeah,
Michael
ball.
is like bullying the band kid. How rude.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Right?
The funny thing is it didn't even hit you. You still fell. He looks like the bully with that goofy face. Ow! Alright.
Wait, hang on, Chi. One
What?
sec.
Oh.
I gotta see.
You better not.
Oh, No, that doesn't do
I'm
anything.
stronger than the queen. Ow!
Whoa.
My shins! Not my ankles! Actually, before we go again, I'm gonna go pee.
Okie dokie.
Heck yeah.
Guys, there's automatic floors.
Well, I hope so.
Are they really? Oh my god. It's exciting.
I'd hate to have automatic floors. Or rake manual floors. Ah!
You're going the wrong way, sir.
He's super inefficient.
I wanted to go up there, but the game said no, which is rude.
Right? I tried that earlier too. Heckin' rude.
Rude.
Road. ROOD.
Rude.
Road.
No. I'm almost to the top. I'll kill again. At least you can't get injured here. Makes me feel powerful.
Makes you feel like I'm on top of the world. Stop it. Oh.
Photo booth.
Ah.
It's a photo booth. Oh no, wait. Oh.
Yeah, when you go, Daddy's gonna feed
Michael.
The basketballs are fun, guys.
you. Okay. It is so hot in my office.
Oh, that's always the worst.
Turn the
Ew,
ceiling fan on.
stinky.
Hopefully it'll help. I also got a soda.
Woohoo! What kind?
Diet Pepsi.
Ooh.
Because Costco
Yeah.
stopped carrying Diet Mountain Dew for some reason, like a year ago.
That's rude.
Asinine.
Yeah,
Sounds
it
Just
makes
like
an ass
Buffalo
decision.
Wild Wings,
it
like
makes me super
10 years
sad.
ago.
Already
Forget.
soda can opening ASMR. Yeah, there you go.
The lantern.
How dare they? I know those bastards. Can't believe they took away my Diet Mountain Dew. I'm so sad. Sons of bitches! Bumpuses! Ow! Stupid frisbee. Bing bong! Bing bong. I think I have to leave you here because you weigh too much. Why is Bing Bong? Bing Bong, you need to go on a diet.
Bing Bong got a fat ass.
Oh.
He's got the cake. Coke Zero's where it's at. I had some of that earlier when my pizza.
As I found the disc.
The desk?
The disc.
Oh, the disc. Oh. Ow!
Crab people, crab.
Ow! I'm trying to open this.
Ooh,
Flare.
flare. There's another one over here.
This is so you guys can find me.
Ooh.
When I
Seems like we're ready to
inevitably
go.
get lost.
I didn't pick up anything. I hope you're all ready.
There was
Yes.
no food. Did anybody get food?
I found
No.
a sports drink.
Oh, that's not food. That
It's
is
probably the same thing.
It's not. It just gives you energy. It doesn't give you any food.
Basically the same thing.
No, you silly.
No.
Eat some coconuts.
That's
You
like
get a
when
coconut.
Rachel asks me if I've had any water. I was like, yeah. Monster has water.
It's probably like 70% water.
Coffee has water.
So am I.
Whoa.
What a coincidence.
I can't get to these coconuts.
I got him. Ow!
I have one down here.
Why are they
Oh
so
wait.
heavy?
I have an idea.
Ah! What's your idea? Where are
I have
you?
one of them things you get while you're driving.
Huh?
An idea?
Waiting to see if anybody else
No.
is an Escanaba and the Moonlight fan.
I
From
haven't
chat.
seen that. I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years. Like legit.
I was hoping that Chris was gonna hit me with the blackouts. No.
Oh.
Like, no.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Oh my god, yes! I'm taking the frisbee.
I already have an owie.
Already? Oh no.
Yeah.
We
I
got
fell
that
out
lantern, right?
I fell out of the tree. Ow, I
You
have
got the what?
hiccups and they hurt.
So one of you guys got that lantern, right?
I have the lantern in my backpack.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
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 Yeah, jeez.
I'm alone. There's a suitcase over there. Let me get it. Meow. Gilman. Meow.
Oh, foots.
Big luggage. Trail mix. Now I want stupid, stinky sports drink. Trail mix. Ow! I'm
I don't know where
alone.
everyone is. I know, me too. I
I
don't know where
don't
anyone went.
either. I'm scared.
Garret with the, with the bugle. We should probably stick together though.
Yeah, because I already
I'm-
have
I'm-
owies and stuff, and
Mhm.
I'm at the bridges.
I'm gonna need help.
The bridges over on the right. Okay.
More suitcases. Fortified milk.
I'm on
Damn.
the shore.
You're what?
I have
What?
a shield.
I
I'm protected.
hey,
I see Garret again.
the neighborhood's
because-
fine, man.
Is it because milk creates strong bones?
Oh, probably, honestly. I think that makes a lot of sense.
That
That's actually kind of funny.
is funny. Alright, I see bridges. I don't see Garret.
He's at the top. I'm on the bridge.
It's your burn.
Arr. It's like his little like radar.
Yeah, man, I need
Where's
help
Garret?
getting up there. You can't get up there. Help.
A victory toot.
Let's wait here and use the lantern on me and
I
Chi.
did it.
Right? Is it half a coconut if you want it hungry?
Why can't I get up
Okay.
there?
Little
Hello?
hungry.
Chi.
Where are you?
I can't. I'm stuck. I'm glitched.
Oh
I'm
no,
under
we're like
the bridge.
way.
Wait, what
we're
the
like
hell?
more to the
There you go.
right. I think you might be at a different bridge than we are.
I'm
I don't know,
with
Michael. Where are you?
With me?
Gee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see you guys. Hey!
Oh, you're over there. And those
Yeah,
bridges.
like you guys went to the different Garret, like bugle. Wait, Garret, where are you?
I lost my
I went
shield.
down to come see if I could help, and then
Oh, and
Oh,
then
we were
over
in the
there.
wrong spot.
and then
There
they
was
hate
no
me.
way.
We were in the
There
wrong
was
bridges.
no way. Ah, bridges.
Ah, bridges.
Oh shit.
Oh goodness, not again.
Already? I'm scared, guys.
Are you with me?
No? There you are. My little flippy floppies. How am I climbing a mountain in flip flops right now?
No, I'm very impressed. Very strong toes.
My grippers.
Maybe that's the secret to good climbing is use your toes too.
Yeah, my toe beans.
Oh god! Oh god!
Oh! You just did the
What?
splits. I had no idea you could
have
do
to
the
play
splits
music.
like that, Michael. Damn. Yeah, for you. Brrr. Excuse me.
No. Oh my god, yay!
They did it.
Did I actually scare you?
Yes, a little bit. I was like, ah! My brain went to like, there's a creeper. Because we've been playing Minecraft a lot lately.
Oh, I thought it was because
Zefrine.
I'm creepy.
It's fair. All right, so did we go up like this way?
Hold still.
Oh, in the. Oh, the lantern. Oh, nice.
A set of heals.
Wait, I'm not healing.
I'm not healing at all.
Not either.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
here you go. You get this back.
Maybe it was a different lantern he was talking about?
Oh,
Oh.
what happened?
He got smoked.
I don't know.
Oh,
Weird.
no. Gee, how bad are you hurt?
Not that bad. It's fine. I'll
Okay.
live. Just a little bit. Just a little
I
bit.
remember
ouchies.
how we got up. This looks like familiar.
It feels good to me.
That's what she said.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. This is definitely a way we've gone.
It does feel very familiar. I would agree.
Yeah, we like tucked up under the thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We
Where'd
did.
Mike
Tucked
Yeah.
up under the thing, and then we went around. Yeah, this is the around.
Yeah.
Where'd Michael go?
He gone. He's dead.
Nuh-uh.
Maybe.
Michael, where'd you go?
I went the other way.
Oh, okay.
Dead.
Trendsetter. Michael's like, teamwork? No.
There's no me in team. Wait, is there?
Wait.
No, there's no I in team, you silly goose.
On the cave.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I thought I was
go
going to be
in there?
rewarded for going into this cave. There's nothing in here.
Oh,
The cave is a lie.
Oh,
the cave is a lie.
that's disappointing.
This was a
I
triumph.
feel like it should be like against the law to like put things in a video game and then not like a cave.
She catch.
You're
Oh,
hungry
you-
for nothing.
Oh,
Never
Travis.
mind.
What? I can't
I
catch
just,
it.
I was,
Ooh.
It
I
would
was like,
just-
that's just.
It'll
We're just gonna lose that.
It'll just fall down there. Jummix.
Can't remember. How far did we have to go around?
I don't know. Until
Oh,
you
okay.
can safely go up.
Oh goodness, this energy drink is. This is great. Why don't I just live off the energy drink?
Because you'll
Oh,
have a
wait.
crash.
Oh goodness! Oh, it's so much.
Oh my
Send
god.
help.
Eh,
Send
yeah.
help.
Ow! Can't get me done with you. You ass. At least I didn't get injured from that.
Ow. Yeah, so now you got the crash, but it'll go away over time. Yeah. Yeah.
Zeph, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael. There he is.
Yeah. This is not the way. We'll never make it up.
Oh, that's right. This is the one we have to go in. Oh, we had to
Yeah,
go
'cause it was
in.
like-
Yeah, Shmi's way.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh goodness!
Ah!
I'm fine.
Oh no. Okay, I didn't get injured, thank God. Because I was
Guys,
slowing myself.
you just watched me.
Yeah, I was.
I
like,
didn't watch
I want to do
anything.
that.
What do
Or did we
mean?
all just blindly go at the same time?
I think we
Yeah.
just went at the same time.
Heck yeah.
Same brain cell. We're like, yeah.
Yeah. Orange cat energy.
Angle is weird.
Basically.
Hey, remember, one at a time on the bridge.
Nah, I should be fine.
You better hope I don't get there.
What could go wrong?
Pretty sure I fell here and just climbed this.
No.
I think you're right. Ooh, the mushroom over there.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the poof healy mushroom.
It's the good mushroom.
That's the good stuff. The good.
That's the good. That good.
I did have like half a bar of extra stamina when I went for it though.
Yeah, because that seems a little far out.
It was way far out, man.
Totes.
Oh no,
Rip.
Michael! Oh no! Are you okay?
No.
Oh no!
No, why would you say that?
No, I'm not okay.
I fell.
I'm not
decent amount.
okay.
Yeah, you know.
I want to go for it.
There's no real music playing, so I'm gonna turn my music back
I was like, the bugle sounds pretty real to me.
on. No, I meant the
This is
Indian
really
She
music.
she said music.
She said music.
That sound. I found a luggage, a suitcase over here.
Oh, I come with you. I grabbed the fungi. Let's
I'm
all
up
meet
here. Hi guys.
Where are we at?
I went up the bridge, and then I am on the other side of where Chi is, up above.
I
I got a
flare.
rescue claw thing. Nice.
I didn't like this flare. You can see me. Hello. I'm gonna eat my trail mix. Nom 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 nom.
Pokey.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
don't
was a
touch
lot
the
steeper than I
pokey.
thought. Oh.
Help!
I'm trying.
Help.
Okay, are all the injured here?
Oh god, I fell.
Cheeto! Cheeto! Zeph, you're good, right?
Yeah, I should be fine.
Okay,
What do you mean
Hold
should
still.
be? Hang on. Zeph, do you have any injury right now?
No.
Okay.
But I do need help getting up, though.
Oh, let's just wait for her just in case. Come here.
Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Lunch. Lunch.
Oh, thank God. Was just hungry enough.
It's mushroom time. Oh.
That was,
Oh,
no! Okay, we're
Right
good.
here. Let me move so you can throw it against the rock.
That's a good idea.
Ah, yes.
Breathe
heals.
it in.
get that
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think she might have something more than just injury wrong with her.
I had rabies, apparently. Ow!
This is the bunny. It's the killer rabbit.
The protector of the Holy Grail.
Like the ones that get angry in Minecraft and try to bite you.
Or the holy Monty Python, the Holy Grail ones.
Oh my god.
What's that?
Guardian of the Cave, that's what it was.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time either. Holy shit.
God, I know.
What's Monty Python?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe that
Nerd.
for a second. Whoa, jellyfish. Bin,
Like,
not
how'd you get up
dead.
here, dude?
He's pining for the fjords.
jellyfish. Squishy.
I need these foods.
Chi, your dude looks like a dude on vacation.
Yeah.
Like a dad on vacation.
Yeah. Vacation dad.
Oh!
Oh.
Everything's fine.
Alright, I'll wait for you to go.
Where's it going?
It was like walking up the side of the bridge almost.
You too.
This was a bad call. Don't do this. Don't do this.
It works! It worked! It didn't take any energy.
That's
Wait,
so
you said don't do
funny.
this? Uh-oh.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Nope, don't do it. Don't come here. Don't do that.
Okay. It won't go that way then.
I think we need to go. Yeah, I think we need to go down.
It also just wasn't worth the effort, even if it did work.
I know.
Right.
Did we go this way last time?
I think we did, yeah.
That looks like up over there.
Are we going up?
No, this is good over
Oh,
here.
what happened?
Okay. That's right, because we came from the right side and went.
Right.
It was you. I don't know how.
Boing. Whee. Ooh, ooh, out of control. Ooh, ooh. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Music as a weapon.
Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Something, something. Rah! Sometimes I can't understand the screaming lyrics, what they're saying.
That's
Sounds
yeah.
cool though, honestly.
Yes, it
Like,
does.
hell yeah.
For what
I'm
it's
like
worth,
one of
I
those
like.
people that like listens to songs for the sound of it and not really like I don't know what the lyrics are saying.
Right, yes. Just
That-
When you find
that-
out, you're like,
Sounds
oh
can-
no.
That
Just the-
can backfire.
just the beats and
Yes.
boops.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that that really can backfire.
Oh,
Exhibit
100%.
Godsmack.
100%.
Yep. It most definitely has backfired. We're killing
We're
it, guys.
here.
Again, with this little victory.
Garret, this looks like a bad place.
Yes. Yeah, that's where I ended up the first time. It was awful.
Right.
I was all by myself.
So hungry.
I'm so hungry too.
If only we had that mending mushroom to make my hungy go away.
Oh, it doesn't make your hungry go away.
Mm-mm. It doesn't. It only makes the ouchies.
Yeah.
I feel like this is so much easier. Like once you start, like once you reach like a certain point, it's just like all like really simple.
Yeah.
Like the last stretch of it.
Yeah.
Meow, marshmallow.
Shoot, so fast.
I'm a zooming zoomer. Nom 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 nom. Mushroom.
What was this?
Anti-rope spool.
Ooh.
Oh my god, this one
What?
goes up.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
Is it just backwards? Look at that. That's gonna be so useful for the forest.
What's this
What
scroll?
is the?
The what?
The scroll.
Read it.
Dear diary, bad news. The ship captain made an oopsie.
That's what
and
I
we've
read.
wound up,
last time.
crashed up. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the diary of the dead guy you found over here.
just hum-chucked it away.
That's what I did too.
Is anybody else hungry?
I ate my
Yeah.
marshmallow already.
I'm hungry.
There's a marshmallow over here.
I'll
There
come
should be
get
enough
one.
for everyone who.
I have an empty backpack for marshmallows. I don't know how to get in
Around
the
the
backpack.
Oh, you
You have to like put it down.
hold
Yeah, that's
E.
dumb.
Oh. Okay. Woo! Hi, Bo.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna go in the forest now and try not to die again.
Okay. I will take backpack. Anybody have heavy things I can carry? I've never had the backpack before. I feel like I have so much. I feel like I have so much.
Power?
Alright. BRB.
So much
Power. Oh, Michael's being right back.
Kind of
We should wake Garret.
like how your mouth looks right now. Zeph.
We're like,
Yeah.
the wiggly line. I look very concerned.
Yeah, like Charlie Brown.
It is. That's right.
Nerd fart!
Nerd fart.
Hi, nerd fart. Forest took me 900 years to get through. We died there already. So now we're trying again.
It was just you and Bing Bong. Pick Bing Bong up and then just die.
Bing Bong was murdering me with his...
I'm alive again.
He was murdering me with his fat ass. All that cake.
Yeah, this is like a genuinely perplexing level. This is evil.
It's, the thing is,
Yeah,
like,
what
it's not
do?
even the worst one.
Right?
The desert one is literally hell.
I bet. Because
Like-
I've seen like the tornadoes and shit. Like it just looks miserable.
Yeah. So, like, I got caught between a sarlacc pit, a cactus, a tornado, and the sun burning me to death.
Oh my god.
All at the same time. I was like, I don't know what to do.
That's actually hell.
There's nowhere for me to go. Everywhere is death. Brr. You're like Blue from Blue's Clues. Oh. Excuse me.
I feel like your character kind of just slides a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
they do.
Yeah, it's like they all have stick drift.
Right?
Sometimes you die, and that's okay. Yeah, you're right. You don't think you've done the desert level? The ice level was a bitch.
Oh,
There's an
fuck
ice
that.
level?
Oh my god.
Wait, I don't remember the ice level. Maybe I remember if I saw it. That whole day was
I've
just
seen,
a
like,
fever
clips of
dream.
Right?
Ice level is a bitch. You know what other ice level is a bitch? Are we there yet? So, we're playing the second map playthrough right now. Me and Red and Giga and Wambat. And apparently we're in like the top like 1% of players that have gotten as far in the map as we have or something like that. What was it, Red?
Mhm.
Do you remember? It was like a decimal point. Like only this decimal point of people have made it this far or something. It was crazy. 'Cause it's
You're a decimal
super...
point.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, I'm starving. Let's go.
Starving.
Got hungies. I'm so ready
point
to climb this.
0.3% of people have made it as far as we have in that game, in that map.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's crazy. It's so
And,
hard.
RV there yet?
Yeah, in the winter map, which is the second. It was like the DLC or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad call. That's a bad call.
Oh.
Why? Just go to the
Because at some
trees.
point it doesn't go down.
Oh, it just
Oh.
goes back up.
It goes to the
Oh.
trees.
More so, I needed to make sure that I looked at it a little more intently once I realized it was.
What?
You're like,
what are
bad
you
idea, bad
throwing?
idea.
Red luggage.
Garrett's just like on a mission.
Ah! Oh, okay. I'm gonna drink my fortified milk.
Got strong
Yes.
bones.
Protecting
Oh,
me.
a petan.
Protects me from ouchies. Don't eat the green ones.
They're
I
not
need
ripe
food.
yet. I know I need some food too.
Oh god, it's raining.
There's a little banana up there on the thing, but it's too high.
Banana.
She's over there. Garret
Oh,
needs to go
God.
over here.
We need to go to South Dakota and visit Bo.
I agree.
Why would we ever go to South Dakota?
To visit
see
Bo,
Bo.
I just said.
Duh.
Were you listening?
I would sooner pay for Bo to visit me somewhere
Oh
else.
no!
Oh, what
Literally
damn,
anywhere
that's
else.
crazy.
As opposed to
Just-
made up towns.
Yeah,
South Dakota's fake.
from
Just kidding.
Yankton, South Dakota. Like I said, South Dakota, birds, round Earth, all lies.
Rounder.
I'm
Wait,
sorry,
what did you
the
call
fuck
him,
did you
Garret?
just say?
Globies.
Globies.
Globies!
Oh my god.
You know what? That's fine. I'll be a Globie or whatever.
I'm a Globie.
Yeah, I bet you would, you sheeple.
I'm a
my
bunny, thank you
God.
very much.
Oh, because
Bad.
bunnies aren't followers.
No. We're pretty chaotic, actually.
Whoa.
What's a scorchberry?
Just kind of do whatever you
Oh.
want.
You should eat it.
Ow! Ow! It's hot. It
Oh,
gives
we
hot
wanted to
damage.
find out. Oh no!
What? That's so crazy.
No way.
It also gives you energy, though.
Cathedral
know.
spires?
Worth it.
What's a cathedral spire? Does that have something to do with Jesus?
I think it's like one of the two things that are in South Dakota.
The way you said,
Wait.
is that something to do with Jesus, just made me think of the Book of Mormon.
Google
You
it.
just
It's so
like
pretty.
clutched the
Oh,
fuck out of
okay.
that, Garret. Garrett's gaming so hard over there, just leaping and jumping and shit.
I don't
How'd
know
you guys
what I'm
get down
doing. I
there?
think I've gotten myself into a precarious situation.
It takes a lot of energy to get up here, by the
Right.
way.
I was like, how'd you get
just-
down there?
I just slid down.
I think I went the wrong way.
I wall slid.
Okay, like over here. How do you
I
wall
was
slide?
too high.
Hold on
I
to
turn
the
around.
wall with left click. Like hold left click down and then push down.
Oh,
Down.
Okay.
Wonder if this is poisoned. Oh, it's poisoned.
Ow! How did I get poisoned? Oh, I must
Is
have
it the
touched
thing that Shri
thornies.
said it was poison?
No,
No,
I'm way back here.
because I ate something.
Was it the green one?
oh my god, I actually made that.
Ooh.
I'm so proud of myself.
Let's go!
Guys, I found
Jeez, the
medicinal
game is so hard.
roots.
Let's go.
Wait, do I have to jump?
Yeah, do it.
Ah!
Eat.
Oh! Oh, I'm a gamer!
Gaming!
Ow! I broke
Guys-
my ankles!
Guys, I found medicinal roots.
Ooh,
She probably plays
She-
all the Zeldas.
She definitely needs the medicinal root.
Yes,
Because she just
I
broke
need,
her footsies.
I need all the
Well, this one's mine.
medicinal
Oh, okay.
things.
But there's two more over here. Chi, this way.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Eat.
What's the big lollipop do?
It gives you energy.
Sugar rush.
Yeah, sugar rush.
Anyone
It makes
need
you all
a
rainbowy.
lot- Anyone need a lot of energy?
It basically gives you like infinite energy for a few seconds and then you crash.
So it's
What
like
is
a
this
Mario
thing?
Star thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh no!
Oh, you're supposed to
What'd
touch
you
that!
do?
I found it.
Oh, I saw. Oh no, Garret, no!
That was the thing that almost killed us all last time.
I find.
Mhm.
Help!
That was definitely
mind,
the
I made
beginning
it.
of the end.
Yes.
Was that first explosion?
Yeah. Hey, we made it to
Yeah.
the
That
fiery
water seems
thingy.
Scary.
Oh, is it really water?
I think so.
Oh, I thought it was fire.
Ah!
Oh.
Oh, it's a geyser.
Oh. Yeah, I see that.
What?
I think it's supposed to be like a
Chi,
geyser.
it's 2026.
What?
It may not be a geyser. Did you just assume its gender?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a dazer. My bad.
It's a vaser.
Oh.
Am I allowed to make that joke? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I felt like a hate crime.
It does feel mean. I got you. Oh. I feel like-
Oh, the lollipop has a crash.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I told you it does.
I wasn't listening.
Oh no!
I'll eat your candy before dinner.
He's been undone by intentional game design yet again.
Heck.
Oh no.
Uh-oh, I'm not gonna make that either. I'm too hungry.
I was full energy.
I don't remember coming. Maybe we should go this way.
Do we have a way up?
I don't know. It's dark. I can't
Well,
see.
there actually might be one further in.
That's what I was thinking, but it's dark.
It looks
and
like
I can't
significantly
see.
shorter climbs.
I think I'm on a pretty good path. Where are you guys?
We're like
Here.
in the cave thing
We're, like,
almost.
inside the mountain.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh,
Why?
okay.
I don't know.
Garret is like, I found it. Oh no.
I think I found a way up.
Oh, wait. I think this is a dead end.
I think it is.
I can't see. It's too dark and I'm blind.
Did you guys follow the wall with the geyser?
Kinda.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
Either.
I'm like coming back up on the
Zeph-
geyser again.
Yeah, up. I'm up
I'm
from you
not
guys.
gonna make it.
Chi, come this way.
Wait,
Chi, up.
I'm not gonna
Where's
make
this
it.
way?
Oh.
Up. North.
Oh, wait, where's north?
Yeah, I already failed. I failed climbing that when I was at full energy.
Oh, come on
Yeah.
up here. Eh.
Eh,
I'm too hungry. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
you can jump off me.
Oh, I had the lollipop. That's probably how I got up here.
Yeah.
Garret!
Oh,
Garret!
that makes
Oh.
sense.
Eh.
Yeah.
Alright, so what you gotta do,
Here,
guys,
hold on.
run and jump and grab the wall.
Are they at full? Do you guys have full stuff?
No.
No,
Here, hold
I'm
on.
definitely not making that.
Don't get injured. Hold on. I'm sending.
I need food.
Yeah, I need food too.
Hold on. I got this.
I have like half my.
I do have some energy, too. So I might be able to make it. Oh yeah, the rope.
Actually good. That's a good idea.
Wait. It looks so
That's
goofy.
so funny. It does.
That's a great idea.
How do
It's
you
weird.
tie?
Look at the ground. There you go.
Yeah.
This is very good.
This is done.
Easy. Thank you.
Yay!
Grr.
Teamwork! Let's go!
I went up this way.
Guys, there's an unopened suitcase.
Where?
Oh, go
Way
get
down
it.
there. It's
Oh,
way down
that's
there.
that's really
Oh,
far
yeah.
away. Just go.
Yeah, go get it.
No, it's far away.
Garret said go get it. I'm on my way.
It's far away.
He's gotta listen.
No,
I was given instructions.
you
There was
listen.
fruit.
You listen to me.
We all left you. Oh, there.
My
Okay.
my
I mean-
my boyfriend said go.
No, my boyfriend said go.
Ooh, there's a mushroom. Do you want to eat this, Chi?
Go
It's
for
a
it.
mushroom.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat this.
Don't eat the
Sometimes
green
poison.
ones. Oh.
I know, but it gets rid of hungry.
It replaces it with poison.
Yeah, but poison goes away. He's not wrong though.
There's nothing in here. I thought there might be hidden food.
No, it lies. Cave
It's
is
fun
a
when you
lie.
eat two of them.
Ow!
Yeah.
What?
It,
What's hurting me? Why am I poisoned?
did you eat the green one?
No, I ate a mushroom. Oh.
Did you touch the
Mushroom.
vine?
No.
I thought the button mushroom should be okay to eat.
Yeah, I thought
think
so
it's-
too.
I think it's random. To be honest.
Oh.
That's
Wait, there was one
terrible.
that we ate that had like a little X on the top of it, so maybe that one's the good one?
Oh,
Guys,
I
I
think
have a
mine
really
didn't
bad
have an
idea.
X on it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Okay, I
It
had
looks
a
like
bad
that.
one then.
I have a really bad idea.
What? That's a bad idea. Ow, I touched it. I'm super poisoned.
Oh, why do you have that pose?
I don't even know. Now I need to wait for it to come a punch.
I told you he looks like a bully.
He does. He gets hand.
Oh man, if I could get my
He's
disc
All
back, I
Might.
would throw it at you so hard right now.
Garret, he's All Might.
Go beyond.
All Might though.
Plus otra.
Plus otro. Detroit Smash. Jump, you can make it. Ain't no way.
think this is the way.
Why do I?
This is
Sorry,
great.
Chi, your stream is on quite a bit of a delay for me.
Oh yeah.
I just saw me standing on top of
Oh.
that bush. Who invited that guy?
Ow. Ow. This is not the
Oh.
way.
Oh,
This is not the way.
we gotta go
Oh,
a little
that
to the
hurt.
left. Like this way here.
Yeah, that's a much better way.
That's a good way. Thank you for the help,
Ooh,
because I wouldn't have
suitcase.
made it.
Thank you.
Let me get up here to get out of the way.
Oh, there's an ouchie here.
There is a big ouchie, isn't there?
Can we
I
jump
wonder.
over?
It doesn't look like we can. I think we might maybe no, because it goes all the way across. I wonder if we have to climb this rock right over here. Like that way? Like there?
I don't know. Can we go
Is
over
this-
the non-spiky part?
Nope, you can't.
Okay.
Thank you for testing it.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, no
sliding.
problem. I just have a over half purple.
Oh no.
We need to get up somehow.
I'm gonna stay here for a little bit.
Oh, how am I
sit here.
getting more poison? What's happening?
Is somebody feeding you stuff?
That would be so fucking funny.
You just kept like slipping there like a mushroom.
I don't know, but I somehow got more poison.
Ugh.
Is anybody
I'm so
super
close.
injured?
Ow.
No,
I'm very
I'm just-
hungry.
Very hungry and poisoned.
Mm-hmm. I think we have to go up there. I can't quite make it though.
I'm
Help!
about to just.
Michael!
Oh no!
I'm about to just eat the poison here.
And just do it.
Yeah.
Just full send it. Just go.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
I think I'm at
Alright.
maximum poison. I don't know if I can get more
This
poison.
might backfire on me. I'm actually okay. We're good. All right. I need to wait for my poison though, because I have like.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh no,
jumped so
this is as
far.
high as I can get.
Oh no!
Wait, doesn't poison go
Blech.
away after a while?
It does.
Yeah, but I
have
got a lot of it.
Me too. I have so much.
Mm-hmm. Oh no! You have a tick. Ew!
Oh, that's what.
Gross.
Ah!
Look
Wait,
at
is
the
that
little
what's poisoning
tick.
me?
I
Get it!
just-
Get it up!
Look at it's in my hands. Ew! I just
Ew,
pulled it
he's
off
so
of-
full!
That was all of you.
I fed it to you.
Oh! Oh wait, it gave me. Wait, it took some of my hunger away.
I fed it to you. That's so gross. Oh my god, are you a vampire?
No, I just ate my own blood. It's fine. You just put my
Yeah,
blood
don't be
back.
Weird stuff.
That's so gross. Ew! It was like so big and it was on your
Oh,
leg.
That's why my
Yuck.
poison wasn't going away.
Yes, that's why. Oh my god.
Okay, that's crazy because I couldn't
She
see
was
at all.
Gross.
actively being poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the random poison was coming from. I was getting eaten
Right?
by a bug.
Then I fed it to you for lunch.
Dang, I didn't know that was a
Yuck.
thing.
Me neither. I
Mm.
was like, cause I like pointed at
Protein.
you and I said feed to. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
What's the worst gonna happen?
Yeah.
It's just protein and iron. It's fine.
Right. What's your head for this one? Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yum,
Yeah,
yum.
it looks like we have to go through this.
I think
opening.
we're on
Yeah.
the edge of the map again. Yeah.
We are. I'm so
At least I got chicken.
Uh,
Oh, I'm gonna wait for that rain. Oh no.
you're right. Wait for the rain.
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
rain
don't risk
makes-
that, babe.
It makes it slippery. Garret, stupid horn. Just everyone's out. Brr.
My emotional support horn.
It's your emotional support horn. Okay.
Okay.
Does anyone have any like magic shoot 'em up gun? Oh, like the anti-rope?
I have the rescue claw.
Frick yeah.
So should I go across and then try to like
Yeah, come over to when you come to me,
where I don't think I can make it across that and up
I believe in you.
across this gap because I don't have a lot of energy.
It's not a climb.
Okay.
You
Oh, I
just
see.
run into it and jump. and I'll be right here for you.
Oh, okay. That's not bad at all.
Do you need foods or?
Yeah.
Okay, here. I found a button shroom.
I'm like 3/4 hunger.
Goodness.
I'm very
No,
hungry.
he's starving.
Where are you at, Garret? Oh, there you are.
Zeph is starving.
It's a way to like, it's like a beacon. Like,
Right?
where is he? Just listen. It's good to be serenaded while we're climbing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh. You. Steph, did you get the shroom?
No, where was it?
I don't know. I dropped it.
Oh,
And
no.
then I dropped it, and then somebody smacked me with a frisbee.
Oh
What?
no!
Oh, I picked it up. Here. Ooh. Got
Yes,
you that.
thank you. Okay.
So yeah, I was thinking we just zip up to there. Right there.
Right where?
Right
Okay,
there.
up there. Okay.
Am I doing the
Up
Yeah,
there?
you're pointing your fingies.
Yeah.
Up there?
Fingies.
Oh, does it not do elevation?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it
does.
No, it
little-
does.
It does. That's funny, actually. It's like,
Right there?
Do you reach?
see, like this, like
That
I'm
way.
leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, that way.
Yeah, that way.
Zipper do down up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So how do we do that? Oh, with
Oh.
the thing, the gun, right? This.
Yeah, the gun.
Okay,
let's
so
not
where...
let's not die in a hole with the gun this time.
Right. So is
Ah,
it
I
like
fell.
okay? So
That scared
because
me.
I can like get up here.
Yeah, just point and click, and then it zoops you up there.
Dang!
Oh,
Oh,
Oh no!
Oh fuck!
Oh no!
Oh, I should have given it to someone else before. This is all over.
Oh, no! Zeph, no!
Garret goes, let's not die in a hole with it. And I'm like, fucking bet.
How far
Watch
down
me.
are you? Oh, no. I'm assuming you didn't make it.
No, I'm very dead.
And you
very
look very
dead.
far down.
I'm
Oh.
really dead.
Oh
That's
no.
really far.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no,
Did it
I
reach?
should have given it to someone with more. It did reach, but I didn't have the stamina to climb.
Oh,
No,
the anti-rope.
Does the anti-rope reach?
Doesn't seem to.
Does it go far enough where one of us could at least get up there and help the others
But
up?
we don't need one of us to get up there. We need all of us to get up there.
So that one of us can get up there and then help the others up. Because I have quite a bit of stamina. I'm only missing like a quarter of it to hunger.
I don't know. I feel stuck. I don't see a way forward.
There's
Yeah,
I
I
see a
am-
ghost. Hi, ghost. It's Zeph. No, my friend.
Ooh.
All right. Well, if we stay here too long, we're just gonna starve.
Yeah. We gotta figure out where to go.
I mean, is the right call to go down?
I feel like that's the chasm you guys were in, isn't it?
I don't know. Hold on,
Can we
my
go
cat-
out and around?
My cat's freaking
I don't
out.
think down is the call.
I don't think so either. What if we go this way and up? This doesn't feel right either.
Oh no, I've been left behind.
This isn't right.
I don't know where to go.
See if the magical rope can.
What's over here? Hey, I found uppies.
Where at?
Where?
Oh, look at you.
Some uppies.
I have no idea where you two are.
I don't know where you guys are either. I'm just going up.
That's gonna leave that backpack there. I see. I saw a Chi.
Oh no, I'm not gonna go up anymore. Ah! Ow! I got a owie. I got a boo boo.
Chi, how did this happen?
I fell and I got an owie.
Is there a hole there, or is it just dead end in there?
I was going up.
What about
dead.
in?
I was not
Oh.
going in. I was just going up. Oh god, don't die!
Everything's fine. What's in here? Nothing.
No, I'm just trying to go up.
What does Pitten do? That's probably like useful or something.
I think you attach a rope to it.
You can grab it real
Oh.
good.
Oh, you can grab it. Oh. What? Oh no, Michael's dead now too!
Are you? Am I? Is my microphone not working?
It is now.
Yeah, it is now. I couldn't hear you before.
When I said,
heard-
"Oh, there, I'm dead."
No, I didn't
I
hear
heard
that.
you.
Oh no.
I heard all of it.
You
Okay,
said you
so you
heard
just
me.
weren't. Okay, got it.
I didn't hear you.
Ow! Oh no. No, I'm fine. Okay.
I don't know what to do.
This is awful.
Yeah, this
I don't
is
know either.
stupid. I hate this.
This is dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. I don't like it. It's over here.
I don't know. Let's go.
Oh. Puppies. Wait, is that the edge of the map?
It feels like it.
Wait, I'm so confused. Wait, is that the fog? Oh. I don't know what's
We
happening.
could just wait. We could just wait till the rain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fogging.
Oh,
No, we're just at the edge of the map.
okay. I got confused.
No, we're fine.
Backpack!
Yeah, it was empty. It was weighing me down. I left it there.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to think maybe coming inside here was wrong.
It felt so right.
I'm just pretty sure that there isn't a right.
There isn't. It's just a go for it and hope. Go for it and hope for the best. Wait, is that not a poison one?
I guess not.
Wait, how'd you get up there?
I had to sprint jump at it.
Oh no.
Sprint jump and hold left click. But from the high point.
Ugh, I can't do it. I'm jumping
Here.
illiterate. Ugh.
I had to come from up here.
Oh.
And then I sprint jump, click.
Sprint jump, click. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I can't do it. I can't do it, Garrett. I'm not gamer
I believe
enough.
in you. I believe in you. You played a Zelda once. No, jump from the high point.
I thought I was.
There you go.
Oh, I did it. Brr.
Get out of my face, ghost.
Hey, be nice to my dead friend.
Oh no, I did a jump. Oh, that's awful. Oh, what a terrible.
This is
Oh,
as
what a
far
terrible
as I can
thing.
go.
Gee, what a terrible thing.
Oh, ow, ow, ow! I got owie. Where are you?
Oh no.
Wait, try the flare. Fixed it. Everything's all better.
Ha!
Whoa.
That went pretty far.
Pretty good throw.
If you go down there, that's where my body is.
Yeah, there's a rope. It's a
Yep,
reverse
right below
rope.
that. That's where my body is.
Well, I can't make it now because I'm almost dead.
join us.
Oh, wait, this isn't attached to anything. I thought it was attached to the side of the wall. It's just in the air.
An anti-rope.
Here, it's trying again. Oh my gosh! No! Oh god! No!
Oh, goodness.
Oh no! Oh god! Oh, I broke my ankles. Well.
The trumpet.
Oh. That's the horn.
Damn, 406. Hey, we got further than last time.
I'm good.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh. That was crazy. Well. Multi-pass. Lulu Dallas.
I think I got a new look.
Ew.
Well. Oh, you're a pirate. You're not a nerd anymore.
What? No, don't. Not like this. Oh.
Ah, get juked.
No!
Got it, you're out.
Oh, can I search his luggage?
Oh.
Oh, man. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
We're like,
Run.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh no, your feet! Your feet were like, oh, it looks like your ankles like rolling out under it. Like, look at my feet.
Oh.
Oh no, wait. Like rolling out from under. It looks terrifying.
Ow.
Oh!
I'm not nice.
Oh.
Jabroni.
Oh.
Oh. It's hard to take you serious as a bully with that witch hat on. Nah.
Back in you.
Nah.
We should take a
crab.
group selfie. Let's go in here. Take a picture.
Yeah, for the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Michael!
Michael! My eyes were like on you.
Oh, no.
That was fantastic.
I have such a dorky look on my face. Bing bong. That's funny. I should have Michael edit this one down for me.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Oh my god. Gee.
What?
It's like, you were like,
Ow!
your legs were like this. Like,
Oh.
ah!
Oh no!
No, like you're like riding it like between your legs.
Oh.
Like I don't know if it's doing it for me.
Yeah, it was. It
I
did. It
like-
did. Ow. So mean to me.
Oh.
Trying to go for a ride here. Can't. It's not letting me. Okay.
Oh.
Whee!
Oh, nice. There's like an invite kiosk. That's fun.
Kansas in the way.
Oh.
Don't worry, I got him back for you. Oh. Ow! Hi, Red. You got a Goblingus emote. Did you get gifted a subby?
Stole it.
Ugh. Ow. Well, you guys want to try one more time, or you want to call it?
I'm good to
Let's go!
Woo!
Ow! Bonk.
I can do another run.
Hmm?
My computer did the black screen thing.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
That's probably fine.
Oh.
I don't think it is.
Know where that basketball just went?
Oh no.
Oh no, Zeph died. Oh.
Mhm. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
My computer did the black screen thing again, but I'll load back in. Can you send me another invite?
Yeah.
Michael, do you want to do another one?
I have been responding.
Oh, I didn't hear you at all.
I didn't hear you
Can I say
either.
something?
I think your microphone settings are weird.
I think you guys hate him because I heard him every time.
Mm.
Why'd you say to that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I genuinely didn't hear them. No.
I
you hate
genuinely
me.
didn't hear me. Huh?
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 What? Bing bong. Don't do that to Bing bong. He's just a baby. Ow!
Are there more levels, or is it basically just this one?
I think it's a rotating map.
No,
I know
so
this is like changes, but
it always starts at the same spot.
No, don't.
like the
Stop.
beachy thing.
What's that?
It starts you off on the same beachy one, like the first one.
Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure the order of the maps is always the same, but they might generate random, like those, each map has like a random thing. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Because there's new island in like 18 hours or whatever.
Because last time we played, it was the same order so far.
Got
But
it.
there's like 6 of them or something. We've only done.
That's crazy.
We've only seen like 2.
Especially with how hard the second one is.
Bunk. Did your invite not go through? Oh, there you are.
I'm here. I'm here.
She just came out of nowhere. Surprise! Yeah, so we could try to do another run, or...
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The biomes stay the same order. Yeah, that's what I thought. Times
So it'll
9.
always be like the rainforest second, but it's like different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's nice to
That's
keep it
neat.
fresh, though.
Keep it fresh.
Times 9. I keep meaning to look up what that means, and I keep forgetting.
Guys, we crashed.
Oh, man.
Oh, you crashed?
No, we all did.
Oh. Oh. No, you
What
crashed.
happened? What happened? What is that?
I got beans and
Point
toast.
flag.
Oh, frick
Beans
yeah.
and toast? Oh, you have a flag? What's the
What does
point
it
of the
do?
flag?
It's a checkpoint flag.
Oh.
Oh, heck yeah.
I
I don't know what that means.
How do we checkpoint?
Don't.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know what it
That's the point.
means. I don't know what it does. What's that? Clock?
Compass.
Oh.
You should put Bing
Your
Bong
character
in
just
my...
side-eyed me real hard.
You just Luigi side-eye you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you guys ready before we starve again?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's go.
Sure.
Sure.
Running! Run, 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 run,
Let's
run,
go.
run, run.
Do we get more hungry if we sprint?
I
Or
don't
is
know.
it just...
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Just use a stamina.
So it's just like time bound or whatever.
I
But we
think
get
it is,
poisoned if we drink the green or eat the greens.
And slip
Right,
in
you
the
heard it.
purple.
Don't eat your vegetables.
Yeah,
Oh, we
vegetables
dropped
are
down
icky.
vegetables.
Mhm.
Aki. Blah.
Caca.
Stinky.
Baki. It was funny last week. Fran and I were talking about how we need to book our hotel for my cousin's wedding in June in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, or we could go to Colorado at the end of this month and see Electric Cowboy
Ooh.
at Red Rock Stadium.
It's so tempting.
I know. I was like, nah, I really can't be ditching out of my cousin's wedding like that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll understand. They'll
No.
understand.
It was really
Dinosaur.
tempting though, because like I really want to see them live still. I still haven't seen them.
Even like at Red Rock Stadium would be pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Pretty neat.
that was one of the reasons he really wanted to go, is because he said it's like his favorite venue for seeing bands and stuff, because he used to live in Colorado. For jellyfish. Brr. They call me Pirate Garret.
Arr.
It's the quietest R ever.
Arr.
It's just
Arr.
R.
I'd be a lowercase pirate.
A lowercase pirate? Never one at a time on the bridge, kids.
Gotta wait your turn.
Frick that.
And she go next.
Okay.
That's the weakest.
Meow.
Oh.
Ara ara? No.
What?
Whoa.
I was reading chat.
Not
Whoa.
Don't worry.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do it like I mean it. It's fine.
You better not.
Who brought the anime girl?
I am an anime girl. What do you mean?
Literally a furry.
No!
No.
I'm only partially a furry.
Which partial?
I have the ears.
It's a weird hill to.
Coconut.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, only a little bit furry.
Wait, where'd you guys go? I'm definitely falling
oh.
behind. Oh wow.
Garret. Thank you. Oh no.
Oh no!
It was a combination of. That was only because I pieced two together that was a struggle.
Oh, God damn it.
Hey, I'm helping.
Apparently I can just walk up here.
No. The power of friendship.
Yeah. Compels you.
Whoa.
Ara pirate. What?
Ara.
Ara. Hello? Hello?
Ow, ow.
Awa awa. Look at us, guys. We're cruising.
We are.
Zooming.
We're zoomins. We're doing
First
it.
time. First time going through this. This is crazy.
Totes.
Wow, we're so good at this game.
Just ignore that the stream's been on for 3 hours. That's not real.
I mean, we were just hanging out.
Yeah, we were bullshitting. It's bullshitting.
Wait, who are you?
Huh?
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 I don't even know you people.
How'd I get here? Oh no, you're purpley.
I find.
Is this even the right way?
I
Or
don't
is
know.
it the other way?
Yeah,
I was
this is
following
right
you.
And I was like, I'm
Oh
following
yeah,
you.
we were supposed to cut through here. That's right. We're supposed to go through this part.
I think that was on the other side of this. Oh wait,
Yes.
yeah, was it this part?
You are correct.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So have I gone too far now?
Yeah, and you're gonna come back the other way, around this way. Because you're correct, we did go there twice, but we realized that we backtracked back here.
Didn't make it.
Oh!
Ow! Broke my ankles.
An apologetic little.
Err.
Mm.
Oh, that's right. You gotta grab the nub.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, don't fall. I always fall. I'm bad at jumping. Just ask Mario.
Who's Mario?
You know. Mario Bros.
You know. You know.
I'm not sure. Wait, is that a healing mushroom?
That's the helium mushroom.
Oh.
I'm really poisoned right now, so I'm waiting. Oh no. Oh no, stop pushing me. I'm petting the cat. Oh no.
I'm not pushing.
Oh no. It
You're
was
just
your fault.
sliding.
No.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is definitely everyone's fault but me.
All the characters have stick drift. Ow. Can't make it up there.
Does anyone need...
There's a suitcase over there. Lollipop.
Yeah, this will be fine.
Yeah. Totes. It's going to get the mushroom.
There.
Fine. Everything's fine.
I can't make it. Oh. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to Sector 313. Toot.
Yay.
Did you get your mushroom?
I got it.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm dealing with the crash from the lollipop.
Oh, right. Oh no, I can't.
I forgot what buttons to press.
Hold on, let me
Gee.
eat. Hold on, let me eat something. There you go. Now I can make it. dun, dun, dun. Yeah, thank you.
Yay!
Made it. You ate all that so fast? Yeah, because I'm a little piggy. I was hungry.
What'd you find in there?
Granola bar.
Granola bar? Is it the crunchy or the chewy?
Oh.
Is it different?
Doesn't-
Nice.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
It is granola bar.
He's like, I don't care. It's food.
As long
It
as it's peanut
matters.
butter flavored, no one cares.
Oh, yum.
I'm a oatmeal raisin fan.
Who hurt you?
That sounds like a
My
trauma
childhood.
experience. I was just gonna say. Was he not supposed to eat that whole thing at once, Red? It just did it on its own. Huh. Whee! I'm jumping, I'm climbing, doing all the things.
Parkour.
Getting so far. I wonder how quick we can do this. You know what I mean?
But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Get ready to catch.
Oh my goodness. Food.
I have one of those. Coconuts are
food?
really heavy in your pocket. You know
Oh
that?
my goodness.
They're really light in your stomach.
Get them out.
Oh, okay. Oh. I have another half if someone wants it.
I'm
I could
good.
probably use it.
I don't want to
Good.
share with
I
you.
have nothing. Yeah, you gross. Cooties.
Nasty.
Hell, you nasty. It's very nasty with it.
Girls are gross.
Ah!
You
Ah! I
get
fell!
it.
Oh no!
Gee, what happened?
I fell. I went the wrong
Oh.
way.
Gee, don't.
Well, sometimes I fall
Ew.
down. In real life and in video games. I thank you. Yay! Topsies.
No one wanted to go up to the peak thing.
Peak thing?
Well, we're in the peak. I did the thing.
Oh.
I did the thing where I said the thing.
Oh. You said the thing in the thing.
In the thing. That's
said
meta
You
AF.
said the name of the thing.
Oh god, that's menacing.
Arr. Did anyone do the skeleton thing yet?
Oh.
No?
Ooh,
Let me at
you're
that
all.
Wait, what's
Oh, it's
that?
different every
Wait.
time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what is that?
Someone should
Crawl-
definitely pick that up.
Oh, I got it. Nice. It's a
Yeah.
mystical item.
Oh, my marshmallow. There's a sausage. Mine.
Ooh.
Got a hot
Oh,
dog.
first aid kit.
Oh, let's go.
Is anyone like kind of hurt?
Nope.
Oh.
I have a little bit of a boo-boo, but it's nothing crazy.
I need to go pee real quick.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Wait, how'd you do it on someone else? I haven't figured out how to help someone
You
else.
walk up to them, and if they need it, you can right click them.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe you can just do it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is that a luggage on there? Oh, that's... Oh, I can't get over there. Probably need, like, the rescue gun or something.
Oh, the floaty island? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a luggage down there. There's two
Oh,
luggages down there.
Definitely
Yeah,
don't go get it while we're waiting.
Okay. I also don't have any inventory, but this should be fine.
Oh, we can't light the campfire because Michael ran away.
Because Michael was told to run away.
Nope, I said definitely don't go.
Yeah, your boyfriend told you to stay.
Well, I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man to tell me what to do.
Got hit with a frisbee.
It wasn't a frisbee.
You hit me
Ooh,
with
airline
a coconut! Terrible. So bullied around here. If you can dodge a coconut, you can dodge a ball! That's so true. Hold it. Oops.
Oops.
It went that way. No, coconut.
No.
No! I threw it over there. Brr.
Rope cannon.
Oh, nice.
Dude, you're so far away. Where are you?
I went for the figs.
Where is that?
Wow.
Let's throw a marshmallow off the mountain because we don't.
Why would you waste a marshmallow like that?
Because we don't need it.
That's not true.
I found the scroll that I threw off the side of the mountain.
Alright, pack me up. Let's go. I'm ready. Pack me in the suitcase. If only you could shut it.
I would. I'd send you to go see Schmitty.
Yeah.
Valid.
Real talk.
On the reel.
Type shit.
Have been winning, Chi? No. We can't get past the second map.
The good news is it's only because we're fundamentally bad at the game.
It's true.
Objectively bad?
Both.
Okay.
I'm back.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
The rainforest really does suck, not gonna lie. Yeah.
Oh wow, rope cannon.
Was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, morale boost.
What does a morale boost do?
Looks like we got a temporary
You get
bar
like, yeah, you get
of
the extra
energy.
energy bar.
Oh.
Energy without the crash.
Honk yeah.
Like 5-hour energy?
Yeah.
Not sponsored. But could be.
I don't even think I can
Play your
drink
cards
those.
right.
What if we use that shooty rope thingy to get to that middle thing for those suitcases?
Heck yeah.
This is crazy looking. Every time I look at it, it's more crazy.
Yeah, I don't know which way to go.
I mean, like, the only thing we haven't really tried is going, like, far left, right?
That's true. We've been going to the right side every time.
I'm not going to
Well,
say
we
the
went-
only thing, because...
We went left the one time, but we didn't. We kind of like shot up through the middle.
Yeah.
I guess let's try left.
Oh, we gotta wait for Zeph.
Oh, right. Definitely. Definitely.
Poor Zeph is standing there starving.
I gave her a coconut a little bit ago.
You
She's
fed
probably
it to
fine.
her?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You ate this coconut.
Rule number 1, don't leave anyone behind. Proceeds to leave Zeph. Well, I'm waiting. I really just want to see if I can get to the middle part. I feel like it's possible. I see the way. I see the way to the center of the Tootsie Pop. I'm gonna follow this vine. Oh my god.
I'm blue.
Daboo dee daboo die.
Woo. Sorry about that. I am back.
No, you're good. We went, but I'm just trying to figure out how to get into the middle thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like the one in the middle?
Yeah.
Like the big
I think
thing?
I see a
Okay.
way. Just gotta figure out how to climb these trees. Climb this tree?
Not a scout cannon.
Heck yeah.
Does it shoot scouts?
It better.
I don't know, but I need somebody to carry it. Because I am encumbered.
You're
That's a
probably
big
fine.
word.
All I know are big words.
I know. Because you're all smart and junk.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I see cheese.
I'm gaming. Except my stamina's really low. I probably should have waited a little longer before I jumped.
Whoops.
Ah, I made it! Let's go!
Nice.
Garret.
I gotta
What?
try to climb that tree now. I'll see if this works.
Guys, I'm in the
Garret,
middle.
catch.
I don't know where you are.
Down to the right.
Oh, hi. Oh, goodness. Hey, this could get us to the middle.
I'm in the middle.
What?
I'm in the middle already.
What? Without me?
Yeah. I told you I
Alright.
saw the way. So I went
Let's
for
let's go.
it. The climbed some trees, and then I climbed a vine to the middle.
Hop in.
I'm climbing up. I'm almost to you, Chi.
Yay!
Oh my goodness.
I found the
Whoa.
suitcases.
Nice. That's actually.
Good, good.
Is there anything good in it?
Oh, I didn't go anywhere.
Checkpoint flag.
Nice.
I don't
I
know
wonder
what
what
it
those
does.
do.
I
Yeah,
don't
right.
know.
What is that? Oh,
What was it?
it's like a. It's the.
Oh, sport drink. Oh, these
sports
are
drink
lame.
I know.
Boom.
All that for this?
Anyone in chat, what does the checkpoint flag do?
Yeah, I don't know. Hmm.
Surely chat knows more than I do. I think I gotta wait for the rain.
Right.
It's significantly harder to climb.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
Oh.
I almost made it. Oh, I found a little ledge. Nice.
It's like a weird peninsula thing that goes up over here. I wonder what's over this way. No.
Spiral.
There's weird trees.
There's an ouchie.
Hmm. This is a tangled mess. Oh my
Right?
god. Oh, I see Garret over there.
Found blue.
Dabu dee dabu die.
You get it.
Dang it. I've been playing since they did all their updates, so I'm as useful as a wet paper bag. Oh no. Where's Trey at when I need him? He knows everything about this game. Why can't I climb this tree? Hello?
There wasn't anything too interesting up there.
Well,
Because I don't know. Because they're all the way over there.
I did see a vine somewhere that didn't have spikies on it.
I don't know what
Right.
that did.
Coming from the middle, but I can't see it.
What's a
did?
kingberry do?
The wetberry?
Kingberry.
Hmm.
A kinkberry?
That's what I thought he said too.
Kingberry.
I was like, what is
I know. I was
that?
like, what? A kinkberry?
It makes you really like feet. Oh, a pitten and a rope spool.
Oh, y'all are like all the way down there. Yeah,
Where are
I
you
can't
guys?
See
Playing
We're
anything?
the
in
game.
the middle still.
Get out.
We're stuck here now. Oh,
Well, don't.
Zeph, I might have done a bad thing.
You can climb back up. Come on, you can do it.
Well, I think I want to go down now so we can get over there.
I wonder if we could just like scale the side of the cliff like this. Go like this, like wee.
Yeah, you can.
And then just go like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a little ledge down here.
Oh, nice.
What's over here?
Anything good over
There's
there?
like... That's like nothing.
Why is there a
Nothing
cannon?
interesting.
Oh. I see you
there's a
guys down there.
cannon. Hello.
Oh god! Oh jeez!
What do you mean, you guys?
I wonder if there's
we
a
are.
vine down below.
we are
Chi.
not
might be able to
together.
jump and then just like
No.
grab it. Oh my god, I'm doing it! Oh my god, I didn't mean to! Oh my
That's
god!
what I just did!
I didn't mean to do that! I meant to grab it! Don't do that! Hey, you can get my stuff. I have the really cool potion. Garret,
Oh,
you should
that's
grab
right.
that. Oh my fucking god, I didn't mean to
Can I use it on you?
I don't know. I'm fucked up. Can it cure the... Oh my god, it can cure dead. I'm like very injured though.
Here.
I
Oh,
fucked
God.
up. I slid off the edge because it was
Ow!
icy.
I got a howie.
Oh my god, thank you.
Where are you at?
On the floor.
Oh no.
Here.
How hurt are you?
Not
There's
too
a bandage
hurt. I'm more
coming at
Did
hungry-
it again.
I'm more hungry
Oh.
than hurt.
Wait, what'd you do?
Where are you? Where'd that come from?
Where are you?
Where did you just throw that from? It just came out of nowhere.
It's poop. Was it a bandage?
Yeah.
Can you guys see the green flare smoke?
Is that your flare? Yeah.
Oh,
Hi!
dude, you know the funny thing is that it looked like it came from over this way.
Yeah, look, it felt like
did.
it came from the middle.
From over here.
Do you still need more healing, Rachel?
Nope, I'm good actually. I'm all
Alright.
good. That was terrible. I accidentally slipped because the
Ah!
wind. Oh
Ow! Need more. Ow! What's happening?
I want you to know that watching this from above.
no! Now she's like drunk stumbling.
Alright. Made me dizzy. No, I'm more hungry than hurt.
There's I have an apple. Do you want one?
Oh, okay.
Hi, hungry. I'm Garrett.
Ah!
Go boop. Wait, let me feed you. Yeah, feed the hungry steamer. Here. Feed the bunny.
Yum, yum,
There you
yum.
go.
Wait, that was weird. My hunger didn't go down.
Oh, that's weird.
Wait, did you eat it?
No, I fed it to you. Wait. Oh my god, yeah, I did. Oh wow, doesn't this look delicious? No.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Whoops.
That's okay.
Oh,
Bad.
frick! I hit this one last time.
What? What happened?
Have you tried not? It's probably
did-
the
I
poofy
haven't.
smoke thing.
No.
No,
not.
no.
Nuh-uh.
What's happening?
He's up there.
Up here?
There's like all sorts of like nice little ledges and stuff.
Don't
here.
worry. I checked for
Yeah.
poofy smoke things. There's none up here.
Oh,
Oh, look, it's
okay.
Micah.
I found them.
Hey, we're back together.
Yay.
Sort of.
Lucky. Pathway. Like, you know where we went right? We went right by the geyser, there by the laser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, these are.
If we go left,
God damn
like,
it.
you see that chute that I'm seeing, Garrett?
Yeah. Oh, I sees it. Mushrooms. They're probably poisonous.
Yeah, they don't have the
I think
X
the
on
ones
them.
without, yeah, that act like the little cross on the top.
These have X's.
Nice. Those are probably good because the ones that we ate were not. They were
No,
like the
it
fake
poisoned
ones.
me.
Yeah,
You guys need some?
I'm good.
Oh.
Yes, I'm starving. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Eat this
the other
thing.
ones were definitely like
So
more
excited.
pale and didn't have that mark on them. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good tell.
They were bad,
yeah.
naughty mushrooms.
Hey, there's a poofer up here.
A
Careful.
poofer.
Not your
Don't touch the
poops.
poofer. Don't touch the poofer. There's also a poison plant, so careful.
No, it's probably fine.
Better than
This
a
one?
poofer.
It's going to sneak on past.
Yeah. Excuse
It's
me.
gonna squeeze right past you.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
When Midwesterns go hiking.
oh, oh.
Me to poison ivy. Oh, just gonna squeeze right past you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, tell your folks this is high. Ooh, this is
I
too steep
can't
here.
get up here. Okay.
Gill issue.
No, it like wasn't letting me establish my.
Gill issue. I don't know where to go from here.
Up.
I think on the
Can't
other
see.
side.
Oh,
over
okay.
here.
I can't
Oh my god,
see.
no.
So I don't know.
Careful of the poofoo thing down here, because there's a poofy thing.
Oh, maybe up. Yeah, up the vine.
Oh no, ow, there's a poofy thing.
Oh
Garrett,
Ow,
don't fall.
poofy thing.
There's a cloud below you.
no! If you fall, you
I
will
can't do anything
perish.
about that.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
your
can't do
fault.
anything about that. I can't do anything
no.
about that.
You're fine.
Let's
I
go!
got
you.
He saved him.
Those things
All
are
right,
big
hang on.
hitboxes.
Let's see what's in my backpack. I have a number of things. Oh, I have a rope cannon.
Oh, that might be helpful.
Nah.
Garrett's just
When did we
going.
ever use that?
He's like, oh, stamina full, I climb. And fall.
Am I using this?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure, yeah. Sick. Where's the rope?
That rope.
I can't fucking
Okay.
see anything.
I think it's within reach.
Yeah, that's about right where I got to. So we're gonna get to it, and then we're gonna run out of stamina, and then we're not gonna be able to climb the rope. Yep,
No.
I can't get to it, and I
Well.
have pretty good stamina right now.
Bummer.
Can you get up here? Okay.
Yeah, I can get up here. I have to wait for my poison though. to,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
wear
just
off a little
gonna
bit.
do this.
Okay. That is a good one.
Now I should be able to get the rope at least.
Oh no, Michael!
Oh no!
Just saw him wiggle and fall.
I like flew past.
It was like like a bug falling off the wall.
I can't even get the rope.
Oh, there's a rope up there. I might be able to, maybe.
If I had some food, I might.
Goes
be able to
up.
make it.
Yeah, it's up.
There's
What's
this
that?
stupid flag that I don't know what it
Nope.
does.
Throw it down.
I can't get it. Yeah, I have no idea.
There you go.
Well, it's there now.
Yep.
I wonder if it's like, if we fail, then we can come back here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
It's like a restart. I hope so. It'd be nice. Oh yeah, that's a good vine. Ooh. Yeah, stand on it, and then you should be able to climb up the other side. I think that's it. Oh no. Oh my god.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
no.
Oh, this is fucked. Oh no. Oh god.
Ah!
Oh,
Ah! No!
Okay, I'm good.
Ah!
No.
I'm poisoned. And hurt. And hungry. All the things. Ow.
It's
Tummy
just a,
hurt.
it's
I
just
got
a
a
Tuesday for
boo-boo.
Chi.
It's just a Tuesday. It's Friday.
Oh goodness. Since when?
Wait, what if we try to like boost here? Jump on my head.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
forgot
we
can
got
boost each other.
boostins.
Wait, Mike, I'm
Oh,
gonna jump right.
somebody help me.
Wait, where are
Chi,
you?
turn around. Chi, turn around. Chi, turn around.
Oh, I had you. What happened? There we
Oh,
go.
we
Did
we
we crack
good.
the code? Oh, oh
Oh
no! No! Who has the most stamina?
I used to.
Does someone want to try to boost me?
Okay.
Here, squat. And then I'll try to like, and then jump. Wait, okay, hold on.
Oh, I made the
okay.
sound.
I think
Look
I
how you're all
started
just climbing
too
on me
slowly.
instead of letting me jump.
Right. I started climbing too slow, so I should try to do it again. Okay, ready? Okay, let me try this. Oh, I'm gonna come so close. Oh, nope. Can't get it.
Okay.
Well,
So,
I don't
Okay,
think
we
hang
go
on.
back
I have a
to-
ton of extra energy. Does anyone have a rope?
No.
No.
Nope.
Grab the rope out of that barrel. Okay, well, I'm gonna try this. Does
Stealing
somebody
your
wanna-
marshmallow.
does somebody
Want
want
to
to
go get it
boost
and
me?
come back?
Boost me?
Boost.
I mean, I guess we could do it that way, but that was all the way down at the bottom.
I would say because otherwise we're gonna get you up there, and that's it.
And then he'll
Yeah.
probably have hunger problems by that point, maybe, but guess we'll find out.
Are you ready?
Oh, we're waiting for Garret to get back.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna like put a rope in and then so it's like you rope and then another rope, like you rope climb?
We're gonna see what happens.
Wait, I just saw
Yeah.
more purple poofs down there. Garret, are you okay?
No, everything's fine.
Like nothing is here.
Sound very convincing.
I'm just speed climbing down. It's all good.
I yawned.
Yawn.
I'm a yawner. I did the yawns. Meow. Poof.
Poof, poof.
Excuse me. Womp, 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 womp. Where did Garret go again? I forgot.
To go get the
Get a
rope.
rope.
Oh, where was there a rope?
And a
At
box.
the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom. Oh shit. That is really far.
Nah, it's probably fine.
Yeah, totes. Poke. Poke.
Poke, poke,
Poke.
poke.
Your eyes look so big and sad. Like a puppy.
Sad puppy.
Yeah.
How's it going, Garret?
Right below you guys.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
With his pirate patch.
Does anyone have any
Alright.
food?
I
Nope.
don't.
I ate the marshmallow in your
food.
backpack.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's the only thing that's gonna be a risk for us.
Yes.
It's the food.
We really need to get out of this hole and find food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's
I
back.
have-
Yay!
I have Pitten and rope.
Alright.
Reverse rope?
Okay.
No.
Oh.
Drop. Shmi, you ready to catch?
Yep.
Oh. There we go.
Oh, oh.
I don't know where it is.
It's behind
It's
on
you.
the
behind
bottom.
me on the ground.
I got it. I got it.
Alright, and then I have Pitten if you would like. Or do you want me
is
to go up? I'll go up and set. I don't know. I don't know what this does, but I'm going to go up and set it as far as I can go.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't very far.
It's okay. Oh.
Not at all.
You get it in?
No.
Alright.
Nope.
Here,
Oh,
let
it
me
lets
just.
you. Bo says it lets you hang on and regain some energy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
heck yeah.
So, yeah, put that in wherever you can.
I don't know when I would. Okay. Okay, hold on.
Here,
on.
land
Can
on
you
my
put it
head
in?
and then I'll boost you too. Oh,
It didn't get very far.
I don't know how I'm supposed to hold on and hit it at the same time.
Yeah, I think I just gotta go for it here.
Go for it.
Alright, so Rachel.
oh, are you wanting a boost?
Yeah, stop moving. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, hang on. We're restarting that.
Okay.
Preemptive boost.
All right, got it. I didn't know you were gonna do it. Okay, ready?
There's no other way we could have done
Oh.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look,
Alright,
ouchie.
3, 2, 1.
I hurt.
Yes.
Well.
Look, ouchie.
You could also
3,
you could
2,
climb up to
1.
this pinion. Also. It's on your left.
Oh, you got it in.
Nice. Good job.
It doesn't regain energy.
It does.
I was
You
holding
hit-
on to it.
Did you hit E?
Yeah, I was holding on to it and my energy was
Oh.
going down. It was at a reduced level, but it was still going down.
Weird. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
mine
so
went
it's
up.
like a- Yeah,
Oh,
no,
there you
it's like
go.
up.
Now you're
Yeah, it's all the
holding
way
onto
up.
it.
Mine was going down.
I don't think
So,
you're. I think
we
you were
did
still
it
holding onto
wrong.
the wall and not the clip.
I hit E to touch
That
the
doesn't
thing.
mean. That doesn't mean it worked. Is it working now?
Yep.
There you go. Doo, 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 doo. Nice. You got the rope. You made it.
Oh.
That's all I needed.
He's
Okay.
up there. Let's go.
Yeah. That's plenty.
not letting me use this. There we go.
Hang on.
No.
Well, I need to regain energy. I don't know that we actually have a good way out from there.
What were you standing on? There's nowhere to go. Ow! Ow! I got hurt!
Oh no.
Yeah,
I feel like if you can go off to the left here and keep climbing up this, after
Well,
you like regen a little bit over
I'm dead.
here.
Oh no!
No.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the way up.
Oh. Oh.
Because I am on death's door as well.
Can't take the backpack off. You lift the weight off.
Oh no, I stepped in the plant.
Bye, Garret.
I wonder if we could use it as like this vine up here.
Take off the backpack so you stay alive.
Oh.
There you go. Less weight.
I also have no food, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I am.
only food eater. No foods.
Nope, no nothing. We're screwed.
Game over, man.
Yep. We've been conquered
Mushrooms.
by the rainforest.
Where'd you find the mushrooms at?
I just randomly found a mushroom.
Was it like a little like a cluster?
Yep.
Oh
Ow.
no.
I saw them on my way up here, and I went to go find them, and then I lost them.
Oh, I fell. I'm stuck. I'm dying.
I'm dead.
Nope.
Oh no. I'm dying too. Uh-oh.
No, Zeph.
No. Oh, I'm alive again. Yay.
Wait,
I'm
potion.
Mm-hmm.
Cure all. Wait, how do I use this?
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Just in
Drink,
case it
drop,
works for everyone.
throw. What happens
No,
if
it's
I
a
throw
feed.
it? Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
Just
no.
wait for them, yeah.
Oh, hell!
Bye, Garret.
Where are you guys?
I'm only poisoned. I'll come back.
Michael, we're right below you.
Garret, I have bad
Behind you.
news.
What's that?
Your trumpet.
Oh no.
No.
Don't worry, I went and got it.
Revitalization.
The fact that you
trumpet.
stood up right when I played that.
Oh man.
No.
That got me. Which way are you, Rachel?
We're
We're
down,
down below.
here.
Oh, hello, friends.
Hi.
Oh, you guys gotta get a campsite?
I don't
Lantern.
know how this. I don't know how this works.
Well, go ahead and drink it.
Oh no, I'm starving. Oh no.
I don't know how it works.
Oh yeah, that like cured a lot for me. I'm like half stamina now.
Who else has the ouchies?
Do you have ouchies? If you do, go for it. Otherwise, I have big ouchies.
Okay, it's all gone now.
Okay.
I think it had 3 uses. There
Yeah,
was
I
already
think so.
1 used. Okay, I have a lot of stamina now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we think this was the wrong way?
I think so.
I think it was, yeah.
I don't know, I think it had merit.
I can't make it down this vine.
That is
Oh,
the
no.
exact problem I ran into. Garret, if you look down where that fog is creeping in,
Is that where?
you see my body?
No,
no.
the fog is.
Oh, the
The
fog,
fog
is like
is
down
there.
below. Yeah, it's like coming up.
Yeah, it's coming for us.
That's so creepy.
Hello, friend. The
That was
abrupt
big.
cut. Just-
Is that bananas?
oh, okay.
Is that food?
Yeah, I think it is. The bananas. Bananas. Pick the banana.
Why did you both climb up?
I don't know. We both needed the banana. No, it's cheese
A banana.
There's more bananas up there. But they're like all the way up there.
Right. I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to reach it. No, I definitely won't.
Chi,
Okay.
do me a favor. Throw that banana peel off the side of the mountain.
That'll keep it right there.
I watched Rachel almost land on it.
Oh.
Okay. Let me see if I can reach the other ones. Now that I have more stamina.
Oh no, the fog.
Chi,
Wait.
You might have to keep going.
I had a checkpoint flag.
Oh, that's right. No, because we laid the
No,
one up
what an
there at the
idiot! I just
top.
ran into a poison flag.
I can't.
Uh-oh.
I can't.
Uh-oh.
Ah!
Oh, God. Wait, did you not
Oh,
take
that
damage from that?
That fog is
Nope, I
fast.
didn't
It
somehow.
is.
I think the fog slowed me down. Well, I have
You
these
said the geyser
bananas.
hurts?
It didn't hurt. It just, like, knocks you over.
Oh, goodness.
I'm probably gonna freeze to death. Why I
I
had
froze
that
to death.
lantern that I used. You can't climb! Ow! Alright, well. Whee! Ow. Oh, I slipped on the banana peel! I keep slipping on it! There.
No.
I'm in a weird abyss hole. No. Slipped on the banana peel again. Oh, this is where I die.
Oh no! Oh, your ghost has an eye patch, Garret.
Yeah.
No!
Oh no, I had the checkpoint.
Oh damn! I suppose if you live and then like you hit the, whatever, like the fog stuff, right? Yeah, it looks
think
like you're
it's
just
just
all
whenever I
alone. You
hit-
can do it, Chi.
Whenever
Go
I
for
hit
the-
give up, it took me back.
Oh wait, this doesn't go anywhere though.
Nope.
You gotta go to the rope.
But even then, that rope doesn't really get you anywhere.
Mhm.
I can't even get on the. Oh, what's happening?
Oh, the
Can't
fog
see.
again.
Oh.
The fog's already up there.
Well,
Oh no.
Damn.
I was never gonna make it on my own. Let's be real. Banana peel came back for revenge. It did.
No, I've seen you use a map before.
You mean in Minecraft?
In Minecraft. In anywhere.
In anywhere. Just gonna slowly freeze to death,
Hmm.
or you know. We win!
God. Oh, I got a hat.
I got an eye patch.
I got new badges.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, my badge is like obtain a mystical item.
Ooh.
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 I think that's my first badge. Oh, Michael, what was that?
What was what?
You like glitched out the door and like did like a weird flip thing.
Flippy doos.
I'm just running.
Right, not
I have important things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think it's time for bed for me.
I
Yeah,
hate
me
it
too.
here.
I'm sleepy.
I'm eepies.
I gotta get up and work out and go to the bank in the morning.
Woo!
Adulting.
Yay!
Yeah, find someone to raid. What the heck is... Mizzy's live right now? No way.
Bum 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 bum.
It's true, Hubba. You are a robot and you don't have to adult. Super Battle Golf is a newer one I want to play sometime.
Oh yeah. Is that the one where you have like guns and stuff?
I think so. The characters look a lot like the Peak ones, but it's not by the same developer, which I thought was funny. Because when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, is it by the Peak people?" And everyone was like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Peak pull?
Boo.
No. Juked. Nerd.
Right. We're gonna raid Mizzy. Mizzy Blooms.
Woo woo.
She is playing How to Escape. She also has a guest on her stream. Look at that. If you're subby, can you use the first raid call with the Chi and the Mac Pops? If you're not a subby, you use the Nemo Pops. Wait, what are you guys giggling at?
The photo booth.
Oh, you're still in the game.
Yeah. Oh man. Thank you. It was so fun. It was
Yeah,
really
it was a
fun.
good time.
Thanks for
It was
coming.
a good time for
It
sure.
was fun. I'll have to do it again sometime.
Definitely.
We need to do a mod game night soon too. We haven't done that in a while.
I agree. It would be very good.
All right, everyone say bye, chat.
Bye.
Hi, chat.
Get the fuck out. I love you. Bye.